Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Welcome to tradertv.live. North American stock futures trying to get back into positive territory this morning as we snap the 5-session winning streak yesterday. All three major U.S. indexes in the red at the end of the day yesterday. It was mega cap earnings day after the close yesterday with Apple. We got Microsoft, we got Google's parent Alphabet. Microsoft, pretty impressive numbers, although their cloud Azure number a little bit to the downside. I mean, it was kind of in line with expectations. We'll talk about all three coming up, trading in positive territory at this point. Today, we get Pfizer, McDonald's, Qualcomm, Facebook, Ford, PayPal, to name a few, coming today. The Fed as well, set to wrap up its two-day meeting. We'll get the interest rate decision. No one expecting any moves, obviously, on the interest rate at 2 p.m. More importantly, the statement and Q&A with Fed Chair Powell coming up this afternoon. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Apple earnings to get to, as I mentioned, AMD, Starbucks, Spotify as well, even Boeing. Lots to talk about today. It's Wednesday, July 28th, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. And there we go, positive numbers right across the board. As you can see, NASDAQ, yeah, lots of tech names in positive territory to start, 0.5% for NASDAQ futures. The Dow exactly flat, S&P back to positive territory as well. TSX futures here in Toronto, pretty flat. Everything else, nice gains, including Bitcoin up 7% to start things off, back above 40,000. So crypto names moving as well here, guys, in the pre-market. Man, oh man, going to be a busy day. We have so much to talk about, so much to get through this morning as far as earnings are concerned. I mean, where do you guys want to start? Google? I mean, take your pick. It's going to be an interesting morning.
Yeah, I mean, what isn't moving this morning? I mean, you have earnings across the board. We're getting more in this morning that are coming out here. Like you mentioned, Pfizer, you can add that to the list. You're actually getting, I mean, we're supposed to get pricing for Robinhood IPO is going to come up. We should get some pricing for that and then see when that will hopefully potentially open, although a new investigation could be hampering that a little bit. You got Tilray's, you got the cannabis space. There's this Grove, which you guys were just pointing out in the chat, or a couple people there. That's a runner. That just reported earnings this morning, so you get small caps as well. You got GameStop moving from the S&P 600 to the 400. That got announced. I don't think I'm seeing a heck of a lot of movement there, but I mean, wowzers. You got TAL and EDU. Some of the Chinese names are also going to be moving in. So most of the earnings were absolute blowouts, and you can see that across the board. I mean, Apple's was ridiculously impressive, but as I scroll up here, trading slightly down. So the market is having this sort of interesting reaction to blowout numbers, which has been par for the course, although that's not the case with Google. They should probably be up more. I think that's a little shallow for the numbers that they put up. And then some getting hammered. We'll talk a little bit about Teladoc, because not everything is roses in earnings land, and that is getting pummeled. Last I checked, they're SSR.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning Teladoc. Maybe it's time to start picking some of that up.
3-day rule.
But we're going to hit the home run today, as every stock that, I'm not every stock, but most of the stocks I'm in here today, big time moves, man. Google just hammers it. Congratulations to anybody. You're up 50% in 6 months on Google, and it's going to touch 3,000 at some point. It's not even, the funny thing about Google is it's actually valued better today than it was yesterday, because now that we have these crazy earnings out, we can see exactly where they're going. And I mean, the YouTube revenues alone almost topped, I think it was 7-something billion, almost beating Netflix revenue alone. So YouTube almost taking out Netflix. Netflix, that's their whole business. This is just a small, not a small part anymore, but a nice part of Google ad revenue Alphabet coming from YouTube. So that was a big one. Look, I think Apple still can go. I mean, this is going to be a $200 stock, I imagine, by the new year for sure. Hopefully by Christmas, we'll see this one go. But 145, definitely too low here for Apple. It should be a lot higher. I expect to see at least a 150 in the next couple of days, if not today. So we're very, very excited about Apple. The only one that poor Miss V next beside me here, it's a good opportunity to buy it, Miss V. But thing is, she's in Bitcoin at a nice low price, so she's making a lot of money on Bitcoin right now. A lot. And Starbucks today on the downside. So we'll talk about that. Their Chinese forecast lower for Starbucks. So that's an issue. It's the only name that I have on the sticky note that I'm going to be looking short on is going to be Starbucks.
All right, speaking of Miss V, before we get into some exciting things, guys, let's get over to the desk and say good morning.
Very interesting day. Enjoy your trading. I'll talk to you all on the chat, and let's get it started, Brandon.
Let's indeed get it started. Sean, you touched on a few numbers there for Google, but why don't we kick things off, maybe have a look at, arguably the most impressive chart on a daily time frame that you could find out there today, because yeah, huge beat for Google. I mean, it never ceases to amaze how much they are beating by quarter after quarter after quarter. What is to come next for Google? All-time highs?
All-time highs. Yeah, I mean, yeah, right now we're at all-time highs, and we're going to be taking out more and more levels. I mean, I still think you can get to 3,000 on this. I mean, the daily chart, this is the 1 minute chart. You're just kind of stuck right now. It's a big move up. Wow, yesterday we got to 27.75. I didn't even realize that. A big move yesterday at about 4:30 or so. Okay, that's why. I was looking at other reports at that time. I guess when Apple came out, 27.31 right now. But like you mentioned though, this is the daily chart, and it's just like riding this 50 period all the way up. I mean, we already did this test last week when I asked you guys how much was it up. Surprising to me as well. This was $1,700 at the beginning of the year. And now you're up to 2,700, and it just keeps on motoring to the high side. We talked about YouTube. YouTube Shorts also doing well. Look, this has been a play for me. That's been an obvious one because of, and it's funny because I told this to Greg a couple months ago about Google, and I said this is going to be the one to go out of the whole tech space and Facebook. And the reason why is just be simply, I got to add Facebook to my list. Ad revenues, right? I mean, everybody now that the economy is reopening, businesses got to spend their money, and they're going over to YouTube, they're going over to Google search, they're going over, to that sort of realm. So we're going to be watching out for Google more. I expect more upgrades. I expect $3,000 price targets. I don't see any reason why this name goes down here. Like I said, I think it's better valued today than it was yesterday, now that we have the numbers in there. So if you thought it was overvalued yesterday, I think it's just better today. It's more in line with what they expect. And I just think that Google continues to go. As far as a day trade, I don't know. I have never really traded it on the show too much. I just hold it in my account. But, you have this 27.50 level that could come into play. Obviously, we can't look at it now. It's a $4 spread.
Well, I mean, the thing I would say with Alphabet here is that when you did have a couple of recent spikes, I mean, I go back to that April move that got put in. You actually did. The same thing happened over if you were to look at Amazon. You actually did get a significant pullback, or at least a relatively significant pullback that would be actionably bought. I don't think you get back. That dipped to the 50 period there, and it actually went just about 10%. I don't think you're going to get that kind of a move in, but 5 is certainly reasonable. I think you just maybe expand a little bit. I haven't gotten this in a while, and I think the next 5% pullback is going to be all systems go. The only difference is there's a few names that are going to look pretty promising because they're going to the down. We'll get at Apple in a second, but we'll look a little more promising that you're going to get that dip potentially in shorter order. So you want to have powder dry, especially when you're getting this reaction here. I don't, that comparison that Sean makes is an app one to Netflix with YouTube. I think that doesn't bode the best for Netflix and some of the others in the space, and you can see that's having some trouble getting off the schneid after their numbers. So it's not to say one goes up, one goes down, but if this market comes in, I feel like Netflix is about to give you that 500 level if we get any kind of a pullback, and the Google numbers could have exemplify why that's happening. You see where the money wants to go. If Alphabet gives anything back into the 26, support turning into resistance turning into support has got to be the way to go.
Okay, just checking on this Grove Incorporated. This is a tiny company, guys. Just be careful with this one. 5.7 million free float there, 66 million on the market cap for GRVI. Again, earnings. They actually had some. It was about 10 million in revenue for GRVI. I want to mention Spotify here, guys, because, from what I see, this report was decent. I mean, they beat on revenue. They beat on paid users. But this is one chart that is not faring too well. It's been a bit of a tough year for Spotify, guys. Down again significantly here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about the report or what they've been saying in it, so I don't really know what's causing this major drop, but they did have a lot of money spent there getting talent this year, of course. We know about, they have Obama over there, they brought over Rogan, and there's a few other names that have come to light, the Kardashians, I think. Anyways, they've brought over some talent, and it spiked the stock pretty good up into, I mean, again, this is just around winter time here, 350, 360, all-time highs. But now, yeah, 226 coming in. I mean, let's not hit the panic button too much. We were just down here back in May, but what a big run from 220 up to 290. I got to do some work on Spotify. I have no idea why it would be moving like this that much off that earnings report, but maybe without knowing, I just think that might be the spend there. So maybe they didn't get as many subscribers as they had thought. Obviously with Apple, I mean, look, Apple is going to eventually eat absolutely everybody's lunch with everything. So I just assume that they're losing some to competition. Apple, I don't know, I'm not a big podcast guy, but I know Apple has, they have their iTunes, they have the podcast situation. The app, I'm a Spotify premium member, and I still use Google Podcasts for my podcast. I don't know, I've never switched over. So maybe there's something about competition there. Yeah, I don't really know that much about the report, Neil, do you?
I don't know much about the report, but I mean, like, anecdotally, Sean, I'll tell you this right now, like, when you got something and you pay for it, you're not really much of a user of it. A lot of times that can be a signal. Look, technically speaking, it's not a great looking chart going into earnings, like basically holding lower highs successively, and then approaching a bit of a breakdown into what was already broken support. At least once at that 220, then slightly. I think you're getting down into that range here. So, like in an environment where even fantastic earnings, you're seeing stocks to the downside, and then good earnings, stocks to the downside, fantastic, only up 1% or 2%. Yeah, it probably doesn't take a heck of a lot to find a weaker chart that'll get tested to the downside here, and that's why. I mean, I'm not saying catching falling swords around here. Like, when I say I want to get into Teldocs, that thing was it's still probably overvalued, but I just kind of feel like that's going to die in the next couple of days. And then when it's finds to hit a bottom, that's the time to get money into something which has been overvalued. You like the business for a long period. Spotify, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you let it trade back into like 180 if you're just looking at the pure chart here. But there's probably better fish to fry. And if I short something today on the big cap, it's probably going to be Teladoc, if you can't have guessed.
Looks like the call is on now as well, guys. If you're watching Spotify, might be why it's accelerating to the downside here. 8 a.m. that call started. I want to talk about Tilray here in a second, but I was just reading this headline here as well. 165 million paid subscribers for Spotify, topping Apple, or likely topping Apple and Amazon Music combined. However, it was the overall user target. So daily active user number that was a little bit weak for Spotify. Tilray, guys, up nicely here, 6% in the pre-market, better than expected report. The first one after the merger with Afria, which is good to see them back to the upside.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it looks like it was, 27% revenue increase year over year. So that's a good spot for them right now. Yeah, 513 million prior year on Tilray. So look, we already know about this story. I don't know, Brendan, I'm actually not familiar with the short interest on it right now, what that's like. But I've said this yesterday, and you're going to get these bumps, right? You're up that 6% today. That's nice. It was down 8% yesterday. So, I mean, you just got to watch out for it. I still think, I mean, like, this is yesterday's move. Like I said, we opened up yesterday 1365, guys. We're at 1354 right now. So if you just take back yesterday's move, then you're flat, which is what I was trying to say, is that yesterday we were down 8% in total. I guess we rallied back in the afternoon, but we were down more than that, almost 10% there yesterday at its bottoms. Or actually, yeah, 1365 down to 1255. So yeah, 8 and high 8%, 9%. The math is irrelevant at this point. But as you can see, we are going to take that out. So yeah, look, I like the cannabis space. We've talked about this. I don't think it's really investable per se right now based on some of these numbers. But hey, if you're going to pick one, I'm heavily invested into Tilray because my Afria shares got turned over, but for me, I'd rather take a CGC, which I just think is better diversified than Tilray, but they're only getting a 1.5% bump. So on that, with that logic, I think you're better off maybe getting into CGC, waiting for them to report and then seeing what's happening. But I mean, look at this daily chart. I mean, I don't know what else to do here. So hopefully today we'll call in Weed Batman, but we're down near horrible lows for these names. And like I said yesterday, until the federal government makes a big play, I don't know if Kamala Harris is the right person for this, although, you know, we saw what she was talking about to get elected, and what they say to get elected is almost anything. So you see the move all the way up there when they were talking nice about the cannabis sector. Now all of a sudden, once the power is there, and this, I'm not trying to get political, I'm just saying this is what happens with stocks, right? This particular industry is one that needs to run on, you know, news, and therefore we'll have to wait for it. So Tilray looks a lot better than CGC, but at the same time, there is still more bottoms to come. So I'm just getting ready for it. Every time I see the market up, I think about shorting. So I'll be staying away from Tilray, maybe if we break 14.
Yeah, I mean, I usually think about shorting Sundial, which I might look at if it had any kind of a move here today. I just want to jump. There are a couple questions about this Infini, INFI. I'm sort of sitting in it right now. This long is off of $2. You did have a breakout pre-market off $2, and then you had a little bit of a support level there. So I already scalped some out at like that 215 area. But look, they got smashed. The smash yesterday, and they did report. And then a couple of banks disclosed a bigger stake, and they got some upgrades there. And this is essentially the price action we're working with. But you can't ignore the resistance that's up around that like we'll call it like 235 into that 250 area when it gets there. So I'm scalping it off. I'm literally giving it to $2. I'm not really, someone's asking how far are you giving it back to. This is not like long it at 2 or 205 and give it back to like a 180 type of idea. I'm giving it right to that $2 level because I think if that breaks, I mean, the trend could come right back in. I think take what you're given here, and it's given some decent scalp trades. It's on the radar for a 930 rollover trade as well, guys. So that in INFI, it is on the watch list a little lower down, but it's right at that support level and had already bounced once.
Yeah, we're going to get into everything on the watch list coming up here in a second, guys. Want to mention one more before we do so. Some Canadian content, because why not? Shopify also reported, guys, hitting $1 billion in quarterly revenue for the very first time. So a nice report for Shop once again. Not doing a heck of a lot here in the pre-market as well. A big stock, obviously, but back above some significant levels here for Shop, guys.
Yeah, look, Shopify is a strong one. Come on, load up, load up, load up. I instinctively always go pull it up in Toronto just because look, it's the only Canadian company that's, I shouldn't say this, it's the only Canadian growth company that's probably worth any of its salt. I mean, Canada has a lot of fantastic, or TSX market has lots of fantastic, like smaller names that are worth it, especially in the mining space, cannabis, whatever you want to call it. But certainly there's even dividend plays there, but Shopify is the cream of the crop. It's what I love about the chart here, and you're going to sort of see, like going into earnings, you get a bit of a pullback into previous chop and resistance, and then you're getting a bounce. So this one is sort of primed as long as the market can hold up to retest some highs here. I love Shopify. It's not always the best day trade in the world. You really have to pick your spots because it gets a little bit spready, to steal a word from Randy. Yeah, exactly, spready. But if we get back down to 1,500 now seems like a great little bit of a base, and I think it's going to be putting in a nice little floor at that 1,500 level over here in the U.S., and then we'll see if we can't get a breakout. If it doesn't take out the top in the next 3 days, I think it's probably more market related than anything else, but that certainly could be true. You never really know. It's going to be a solid breakout when it does happen. I think this has got some nice runway to the upside.
Yeah, no, I mean, small businesses are going to, continue to remain, huge. And Shopify is one of those names, again, that you're at the all-time highs right now. So this is Facebook I have up on here, but for some reason my chart is still on Shopify. So that's a big one. The reason why I'm calling up Facebook is this is on deck, and this is going to be an absolute monster. I just bought this thing at 270. It's at 370 right now. And it wasn't even that long ago, guys. And we bought that and tweeted it out. That was like in April. It's now July, which is not that far. Like, you basically, it is July, it's unbelievable. So you're up $100. So basically, you're up 30% on this name in a matter of 2 months and going higher. You think Google's beat was big? I'm just very, very excited, needless to say, for Facebook. So I think Facebook, Shopify, Google, they're all about the same thing, and they're all about small businesses. They're all about the reopening, and they're all about ad money. So if you like Shopify, I mean, Shopify is not about ad money. Well, it's the same realm. You like these kind of digitization plays, you're going to watch out for Facebook. That's going to be coming strong, Brendan, strong.
Number of analyst moves to get to today, guys. There we go. This is about all you need to know for today, this side of the board. Apple, AMD, Alphabet, Microsoft, all on this side of the board. It's worth noting there was lots and lots and lots of analyst moves. Sean, you were mentioning you were expecting a $3,000 price target for Alphabet.
Hey-o.
There it is. Mizuho, the first one to go. DraftKings over here. I saw this morning the Boston Red Sox naming DraftKings their official gaming partner. Penn National to the downside, Teladoc, and Wynn as well, guys.
I also put out a little video. I'll put it on if you guys want to see it there. It's on Twitter there about what I was talking about. And I actually mentioned there in the video, and I didn't know I mean, I don't know when that price target happened. It probably happened before I said it, so it's going to look like cherry picking, but there's the video if you want to watch it. Look, I was talking about that with Microsoft. There's just going to be upgrades coming. These numbers were just too big for Microsoft, for Google. You're going to get them for Facebook as well, and you're going to get them for Apple. I think all of these, there's no reason for any of these names to continue to go down, so I really, really like them. The only thing is the NASDAQ, I mean, you're at all-time highs for everything, so you know, if you keep selling all the time at all-time highs, then you're going to miss the next all-time high. So I'm super, super happy about, we haven't even got to AMD yet, so I'll save that. But hey, I mean, can we be any more happy? We're long AMD, I was telling you yesterday, 65 bucks. You know, I'm not even going to get out of that one. I think we're going to be touching that 100. When that breaks 100, then you're going to get price targets of 125, 130. Remember what Intel did? Was down 6 or 7%. You know, you're going to see AMD upside very, very soon. I think it's great for the whole space. We're going to have Nvidia coming soon. I just love that. Like basically my 4 largest holdings there, excluding Amazon, all with the upgrades. And then I did, you know what? I didn't actually look at DraftKings in a while. I know Neil and I like to trade this one because it does move a bit.
I hate to trade.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I've already said it's the worst thing to trade in the day, but you could. I mean, it does have big moves. I think it's something that a lot of our viewers like to trade. But yeah, 50 bucks again for DraftKings. I still think they need to get some out of this. I did sell some last time. I think it was 51.50 in and around this final break here. Maybe it was 50.50. This last 50 period moving average break to the downside. We didn't buy anymore. So all I've done is just hold cash into that time. So you're right back to this level and you're right at the 50 period for DraftKings. But that was a downgrade, huh? So actually not moving that much on that downgrade.
Yeah, I mean, look, DraftKings is on that almost like no-fly zone list for me for like the day trade, especially when I think it's going to be bullish. Maybe it's going to be interesting to the downside. I just want to point out this GRVI. We just talked about, I think we just mentioned that GRVI reporting. They got flushed. It tried to get off. It tried to make a bounce off of this consolidation here at 635 and was looking like it was about to test the top, but was ready to actually roll over and think about a short off the high of the day. And then this crazy candle happened and it got slammed down almost like 10%. So now to 33%, it broke the support. Obviously, you can see I shorted that support there at 631. This was a 465 stock, but the last dip at 8 o'clock when retail came in was to 550, and then before it made a secondary breakout. So have that as like a first target. I mean, I'll scalp out in front of it, but 550, certainly the next place I would expect to find a little bit of a bid on GRVI.
All right, let's get into everything else we need to know for the morning, guys. If you haven't done so already, head over to that link and grab the morning note that we send out every single morning for free to you. All you need is an email, and you can grab that every single morning. As I mentioned, Miss V will help you out in the chat if you do need that link. Again, let's go. AMD is going to be the first one we talk about here. Pretty impressive right across the board for all three of these tech names. Anyways, guys, thoughts on AMD here this morning?
Yeah, I mean, quarterly earnings, 63 cents versus 54 cents. Anyway, just going to get ready to take Tilray through 14 bucks. Here, Tilray's starting to go finally. So again, you know, I don't love the name, but you know, we've talked about it here today, and I think that this is a big run up to 14. 14 is a key level. We'll see if it can hold it. We have there we go. So now we're long 14. We do have 1350 as an out. So let's see how far we want to run on this. And we took a decent sized position, and we're long at 04 right now on Tilray. Let's see this bad boy hopefully run a little bit. We do have on the daily chart though. I did want to talk about it quickly because I'm in this. I just looked. It was 1420 or so. What was this high? Yeah, right there. 1417-ish, something like that. And then we were just at 1475. So there is an opportunity to run there. But here goes Tilray, man. We're already long at 04, so there is some opportunities there now, breaking through 14. I hope you guys took some of that. I just said the high was 17, so we'll park an order at 16 and see if we can get some out. Okay, AMD there. So just looking at that, that's how I trade. There it is. So there's the win right there. We'll punch it out. We'll go Weed Batman on Tilray as it's still starting to go to the upside. Look, AMD, big quarter. We're really super happy with it. The only problem is last time, and I got to use a different chart because I know our day chart doesn't work too good. Last time we were up here, we tanked hard. That's what's on the sticky note. And I just want to remind everybody that we've seen this before. I say careful here. The 94 long looks really, really good right here on a break, okay? Because we've been up here. Here's a 20-minute before. Yesterday's high is 94, so it's right here, 94.14. We could take that out. I think it's going to be, I think it is a monster quarter for them. They're still valued. I mean, their market cap is still roughly half of what Intel is. I think that's going to reverse course at some point. The revenue rise 99% according to Reuters. So look, it is what it is. They're still run by one of the best CEOs, Lisa Su. So we'll see where this stock goes from here. I like it. This is the name that I'd be in more than NVIDIA, more than everything else. That's why I'm in this, and I believe in it. The only problem is last time, if we go to a daily chart, and this is sort of the whole rhetoric that I'm spitting right now, is we've already been up here a few times. This was one of the last earnings reports there, well, not the last one, but back in February, where we touched 99 and change. Almost beat that 100. I think you said, Brendan, was 99.71 or something was the all-time high there. So we've been up here, and it wasn't even too long ago. It was 2 weeks ago we were at 95. So we're going to watch out for this 95 level today. But right now, AMD looking like a great, great trade. I'm going to take a small long through 94 and then not let 93.50 go. I think that was the call. No, 93. I can't let this one drip all the way down again on us, guys.
Yeah, numbers like the numbers can't be a surprise. If Intel were going to have strong numbers, you knew AMD and Nvidia was a bit, I think, a little bit of a disappointment, but that has more to do with how it was already priced. AMD was going to blow it out of the water. There were no real updates on the call with regards to the Xilinx deal, except for the fact that they expect it to close by the end of the year. I think that's going to be big for them. They need to close this deal. I think part of the problem is you're getting some selling in AMD whenever there's doubts about the Xilinx deal, and that starts to trade lower. So oddly enough, if you catch a bit of a baseline on Xilinx or any getting positive chatter that it could get those necessary approvals, I think that's what could take you to that 95, 96 breakout that AMD has been lacking for here today. I mean, I'm sort of pretty similar to Sean. It looks pretty solid as a breakout. But this has that setup that if we don't, like if we're retesting and getting like 92.50, yeah, I mean, you could get a bit of a breakdown trade. So you got to hold above that 92.50 level on AMD. I will be watching Xilinx because if that thing flushes, that could make for an interesting trade. I did talk about that GRV. I just got into it. That's a 50-minute chart. You don't want to see it. Gonna scalp some out in front of that $6 level. Have bids at the top end of this cluster here. That was a 550 bounce. That's into like 585, and then we'd get more out in front of that 550. So this one already working to the downside. Infini's back at 215 and running into the same resistance, 10 cents in the money that it did the first time through. So I might have to take some more profit on that one as well. So much moving this morning. There's going to be a ton to trade today, and yeah, buckle up because this is going to be an exciting one.
Definitely. Let's continue along here. Microsoft, guys, big numbers, big quarter for Microsoft as well. The Windows revenue number was the only kind of question mark. It was still in line with expectations, but everything else monster beat for Mr. Softy, Sean.
Yeah, I actually don't mind that a zero number. Maybe it's a huge number, but maybe it's not as big as everybody thought. And then that's what, rocketed it when they see the numbers. Then they thought maybe it's not as great as possible as people thought. But look, I mean, Microsoft again, they have 3 units now, each with 50 billion in revenues. So I don't see where Microsoft's going other than upside right now. I thought that they were priced to perfection here, and they still beat that number up to 1.21% right now, and even higher. I like this 292 level. I wrote down here that we'd like to get long back at 286, right there, right? 286, you can find it, and that's just yesterday's close. So I'm a little weary here. Like even as I hold this Tilray, I hate being long Tilray. I just put that in the chat. It's working. We're making money on it, but that's a dangerous play. And I do not hate being long Microsoft. I think that there's a lot of protection here. Fourth quarter climbed 21%, 46 billion in sales there compared with 44 last time. Net income 16 billion in a quarter, 16 billion in a quarter for Microsoft. So look, I think that they're the one that I'm most nervous about. I mean, because just look at this run. You don't have very many red days in here, sans yesterday, but you know, you get a nice move upside for Microsoft, and that just looks red there because of the aftermarket. So we'll wait to see what it happens today. But again, $300. We already seen the price upgrades come. I think the next time you get to 300, then it goes to 330. So I'm looking long on Microsoft. But again, I'm just a little nervous today because we've seen this before, Neil, where a lot of these numbers come out and they're rocking and rolling, and then we see some drops. So I don't know. I think I'd rather pick up dips than try to trade breakouts here. But hey, the big boys are going to come in at 9:30 and they're going to tell us what to do.
What scares me about Microsoft is it's the manner in which it sold initially. And through that 286, which by the way, like that 286.50 was also like 2 days in a row support, right? That like, you're talking about support back on Friday, and then it's the same support level on Monday that it got sold into and had a hard turnoff, right? So, you know, we broke down, we then managed to close at that price, and then you get the flush. Now we're gapping up right above it. Like if 286.50 gets taken out, more like 286, I'll give it some room. If that gets taken out here today, I think that drags a lot of names to the downside. Like I'm sitting over in Oracle, and my litmus test is if Microsoft breaks that today, then I think it's time to start selling a little bit of Oracle as a bit of a cloud play, and then maybe put that money into something a little bit nicer or maybe a better opportunity. So let's start looking at only that one level on Microsoft. I don't like the breakout. Anything that sells off that hard on an unbelievable quarter, you know, I know there was some mixed bag about it, and fine, there were some disappointments there. But anytime that's kind of a reaction, it tells me that there are some people looking to capitalize at those highs on Microsoft. And I'd rather not be taking any breakouts in a setup like this on Softy. You'd rather be able to buy that dip. And 286 is the only level. I mean, after that, you're probably going all the way back into like a 275 if it happens to break. So let's see what happens. That'd be a fantastic buying opportunity if it does. I mean, you get 5% pullbacks on any of these names, and you should be jumping into them if you're not already invested. I think it just makes a ton of sense to me, but I don't like the breakout here at all.
All right, let's bring in Arun, get a check of the overall market, because there is another significant event, not major event, but the Fed coming this afternoon. Arun, what are we looking at today?
We got to take a look at yesterday's action. Yesterday's action was quite choppy. Even though we went down, it was the weirdest 30-point move I've seen in a while. It was very choppy from the time that we broke 4,400 to the time we put in that low. It was up and down. It wasn't clean. It looked weird. There was a lot of volume, obviously, that would maintain that kind of action. And then you're getting the same kind of movement in the pre-market as well. You did have some earnings. You have some big earnings coming out late in the session. That kind of moved the indexes around quite a bit. But the volume still seems choppy to me. So what I'm thinking is that this is all positioning going into, or protective positioning going into the Fed, which is at 2 p.m. So everyone's going to keep an eye on what the Fed is going to say. Has the stance changed regarding inflation? Well, are we getting closer and closer to making changes? Are there more dissenters in the vote? Like, there's going to be a lot of keying in on what the words or the key words that we would be looking at, or what the programs will be looking at to make a trade based on the initial statement. So when the initial statement comes out at 2 o'clock, it'll be, you know, the rate. Everyone's expecting unchanged at the moment. I think that's fair. But it's going to be about that policy statement, right? That initial statement will be read by the programs. The market's going to react based on what the programs are seeing. They're parsing through the words. Programs will react. The algorithms will move based on what they're reading. And then you'll have that settlement phase, well, which might be 5 minutes in before anything that needs to be overridden will be brought in. I guess the brokers need to step in and override some moves, whatever the case is. And then you'll have the actual move. If there's a big enough of a change in wording, you might have an actual move after that. And then at 2:30, everyone's going to need to clean up the whole situation, because that's when you have the Q&A, the press conference. And based on what then comes out of the chairman's mouth at that time, then you're going to have a move based on what he's saying. So it could get very dicey after 2 p.m. So I'd be very careful on how you trade. If you haven't traded Fed moves before, just understand there's a lot of back and forth whipping action. So wait for something that's very clear that you can actually trade. The risk might be a little bit larger than normal in that type of scenario. So just be aware that you are going to get volatile movement. For now, though, I'm looking at 44.20 as the top end level. That's an all-time high. It's the only level I've got. If there's a setup in front of that, that can actually set up well ahead of noon. I don't know how I feel about taking a larger position after 12 o'clock going into a 2 p.m. Fed, because the volume kind of dies down. Do I want to position going into that? I don't think so, unless the setup is really good. For now, though, I'll put 44.20 as the top end. If we can get a short in the mid-morning time area, I will definitely like to be on the short side with 44.20. Again, I need a setup. If we go to the downside, it's a mess on the downside. I've got 43.50, around 43.50, no exact location, but somewhere around there is my level. It's going to have to be a solid setup. You saw the action yesterday. Once we got below 70, 43.70, it got really back and forth. It was very hesitant to get below 70. And when we got there, it looked like we might go for a bit, and then it kind of spun around and came back up 25 points. So it's somewhere there is where I would like to be long if I were to look for a long, but at the same time, I'm not rushing in to get into a long position at the moment, or even on the short side, I'm not really rushing in. Even the range is wide, the setups are messy. So this might be a situation where you kind of really wait for the market to play itself out. You had some earnings last night, so maybe see what happens at 9:30. Let the programs come in, dictate how those movers, they were the big movers. You had Apple, you had Microsoft, and Google, big tech movers, big tech weights in the indexes. Let those programs take care of those index stocks, and then maybe 5 minutes after the open, once that mess is taken care of, maybe step in if you can find a trade and look for a trade with those levels. If you get a breakout to the high, also, I'm not sure how confident I would be in that breakout to the high. Everything's on the table, but nothing is solid at the moment, Brendan. So just a couple levels, couple wide levels. It's a Fed day, so no rush to get into anything just yet.
Yeah, busy day. Lots to consider. Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow morning. Let's keep going here. We got a lot to get through before the open, guys. Under 30 minutes away. Let's talk about Apple. Another record quarter for Apple on the revenue side of things. I mean, it's hard to find anything negative here, guys, for Apple. I mean, their China sales grew 58%. China alone, 14.76 billion.
Like every segment was up, was double digits for Apple. Like there is literally nothing you cannot like about it. And look, I'm not an Apple user. I'm an Android person. But once you're in the ecosystem, people stay in it. My entire family is in this ecosystem. The problem here was at 150 level, you get a double top off of it, and it just feels like you have resistance at the high. At the end of the day, some of these names are going to blow out earnings, and they're just going to come back in. So, I think this is going to be a fantastic opportunity. This is your golden zone here, and we'll call like 130 to like 140. You kind of look at these lower highs that got put in that previous resistance point. You had such a clean breakout through that level that if we take out a 142 today, that's going to be a buy zone. I think, well, we're talking long term because we're not going to get to that price today. I'd be really shocked if it actually happened. I think if you're looking for the dip, you're probably looking closer to that 142, 143, just looking at the daily chart here, guys. So for me, I only want to be buying dips on Apple. At some point, you're going to get that breakout. It just feels like this market wants to hold off a little bit before anointing a name like Apple. People are going to rush to get their money, and the iPhone sales are absolutely through the roof as everyone updates to 5G. They were a bit vague about how many people are converting from Android, but they did say that those numbers were up double digits as well in terms of not just people getting new 5G phones, but also a jumping ship from Android to Apple. I'm not one of them, but hey, to the extent that that's happening, once they're in that ecosystem, margins were way up at Apple as well, which is crazy. Like if you think about it, like they're now they're going to turn into a service company if they're not already going that way, and they're still making fantastic margins on their hardware. Like, give me a break. Like, everything about this was blow out of the water, and we're down 1%, which is to say that you should be, if you're not in here, you got to be getting into this name. And I'll be buying dips on Apple. Probably not as stubbornly as Tesla if the market goes down, but close to it.
Look, I've been saying this for months and months and months that there is no headwinds for Apple, only tailwinds. Wait till they get into, like we've already talked about it, the electric car business, the health side of things with their watch and with new products going to be coming out soon with Apple. This is a $200 stock, and I'm going to disagree. I think we could easily get to that 150 today. I'm taking a 147.50 break rate here. I just think that if you're not in Apple, then today, I don't see why you don't just rush to the gates to buy it today. It's just a monster play here. It's actually, considering it's 33% less growth so far this year than Google. Shoot, can't do the daily chart. And you know what? This deserves to be a lot higher. This chart should just be ticking up. So right now, I don't see any reason why Apple can't continue to fly. I mean, myself right now, I'm probably going to be getting the Pixel 5. So I haven't used Apple since the very first iPhone, but it's a great product. They're just getting into more and more things. We already know with Goldman Sachs, they're doing that Affirm, that buy now, pay later type business. That's going to be coming out soon. The credit card hasn't even really got going yet for them. Apple Pay, we haven't even talked about it. So there's just so many things here that they can get going. Even my wife we have the Oculus, the new one, and there's some products on there. I think it's called, I can't remember what it is. It's different workout things and blah, 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 but they're all connecting with the iWatch and things like that, just creating more people to upgrade different products, different things. Once you buy an Apple product, you understand the quality of it. So I like Apple for a long, and I'm going to be long on, like Neil said, I already have dips in here. Like I have bids ready to go in case we do get some dips, but I am looking for a break of 147.50. I just think Apple has too much behind it right now. And if you're not invested in it, then you're going to miss the boat. So that's where I want to see, and that's what I said. Let's see how everybody trades these names. Like, I feel that if you're not in Apple, then you're underinvested, period. So let's wait to see if people flock to it or if they sell. Like, this is what happens on every earnings report for Apple. It seems like they want to sell it off, and then you have to pick bottoms, and then it starts to rip again. So either way, man, I don't have a problem sticking my head out. This is a $200 name by Christmas.
All right, first profit for Boeing in 2 years, guys, on the quarterly side of things. Nice report after some COVID issues and also 737 MAX issues that have been widely talked about, obviously. But, I mean, as far as charts are concerned, this is pretty nice today comparing to some of the other ones we've talked about.
Yeah, it's about time. Look, it was going to need. Look, Boeing was going to need a positive catalyst here, and when you get finally you get some profitability here, it's going to make some sense. I just want to point out. This is already put in like a gigantic. I mean, look, we had a big fall down to that 200 level or close to it, but we've already put in a big recovery and put a new floor in at that 215 to like 220 area or so, and now we're breaking back. We have not broken the 50 period. There's a big cluster here, which is why I don't love it for the day trade today. Unfortunately, I'm still in this name and I still like it. I don't love it for the day trade because you're getting right into resistance at like 240 level. So I think you almost want to be catching a little bit of a falling. Oh my goodness, my 15 just crashed on me. So anyways, I think you want to be catching a bit of a falling sword. Otherwise, if you look at a break of like 236, it kind of feels like you might be putting in like a $3 to $5 move up there in terms of resistance. If this had not already had a breakout from like the 30 to 35 range, 30 to 32 range, I think you'd have a bigger move in store. And the idea that breakout could turn into support and maybe look for 231 on the dip and Boeing on the day trade. It's a much different story when you have the gap consolidate and then break has already happened once. Now you're much closer to that resistance level. If you had caught that earlier, certainly that 231 gets you the move that you'd like. I'd much rather see if support comes back in that particular price range. I just added back into GRVI. By the way, it popped back into that cluster at 620. So you saw my price get a little bit worse because I had to short it below 620 this time. It's back below that $6.
Okay, good look on GRVI there, and then Boeing just continues. It's back and forth. I mean, it's kind of stuck in a spot here. I've held my conviction pretty strong on this. Long right in around here, 208, 209 area. And we didn't add into it. We talked about this with Mark Roberts, even when it was down here at 190. I wasn't adding. I mean, this stock has obviously runway to get back up to 250, 260, so I do like that. And I did want to talk about Apple a little bit here because The thing is that I don't have FOMO. I mean, Apple's one of my largest investments. And the only thing about Apple, and people were right on the chat there, that last time Apple had earnings, it was 136 or so right here. I talked about this, and then it dropped to 122, 100%. And that's what I was saying could happen right now. We got to wait to see if the buyers want to come in. I mean, this thing could drop to 138 again, right? I mean, the stock market's manipulated. You guys already know that. So, I mean, we talked about getting hella long down here at 128 and change. Now you're at that 150 mark with tons and tons of upside. So if it comes down, that's only an amazing buying opportunity. As you can see, the only name I'm in right now is Tilray. I do have some upside targets for a lot of these names, and then also some cherry picks as well. So we'll see if we can get some low bids here on Apple, including 144 and change. But for right now, I don't think we should buy heading into. Oh, we haven't even shown the imbalances yet. The NASDAQ won't be on here, but I don't think we need to buy heading into the open. We want to wait to see what Apple does. Okay, we are going to get to some Chinese names, but just to show you guys, EDU, TAL, LYG.
They're huge.
They're all here. Yeah, a lot of Chinese education names on the buy side. And yesterday we were talking about buying these things. I didn't personally, but if you want to pick up some of these names, the one name that I did pick up yesterday at 183, and I got to give a shout out to Shakib because he and me may be the only guys buying these names, but I did step into BABA yesterday at 183. So, and we're lucky enough that when we were done the show, it was actually near the low points here, allowing me to pick up some at a good level. I don't know if it was 183. Yeah, it must have been. I think it might have been a little bit lower than that, maybe 182 or so, in and around here anyways, yesterday afternoon. So nice little buy there for Alibaba. We'll see if that continues to go, but we have more coming on Chinese names. My favorite for today is going to be NIO.
All right, let's go to Starbucks before we do get down to those 3% to the downside here for Starbucks in the pre-market. So they cut their full year forecast, both the next quarter and full year forecast for China sales. Not significantly, but a bit of a haircut. Pointing to COVID concerns that remain. So Starbucks to the downside, guys. Otherwise, pretty good quarter.
Yeah. Again, my biggest worry here is just the fact that they lowered their Chinese forecast, right? And I just think that is such a huge market for every company right now, besides YouTube, because it's not available in China. But I just think that if you're going to go negative on any name today, it's going to be Starbucks for me. We're already down that 2.94%, so it's showing its hand. I've written down on here short 121 on the sticky note. That's kind of a no-brainer. That's the bottom right here from yesterday after the report, 121.16 or so. So I am looking at that as a level. It's just been a beautiful run up for Starbucks. And again, it had the same look as that Apple chart did. Last earnings play down. Last earnings was right here, 118. We did touch down to 110 there. And so to think that this could come back into like 116, 118, I think is very, very possible. So we'll look to see that today. I'm going to be short. My order's already in. It's going to trigger when it breaks it. 120, what did I say, 121? And then if you wanted to short it, I mean, upside, like, again, we'll see. If it starts to run, then we know that this is a name that we want to short. So we'll look to short Starbucks on any pop. That's going to be the one play that I'm going to look negative on. I mean, there'll be more, but initially my only first negative play would be on Starbucks.
Yeah, my only negative play that isn't a small cap is on Teladoc. We'll get to this one because I don't think it made the watch list. Look, they had a wider loss than expected by about, I think it was like 30% or so. So not a good quarter for them. They are short sell restricted. I'm looking to short a pop in here. You can see the absolute carnage that happened after market here. And we're holding below the post-market lows at 138. So I'm shorting off that level on any kind of a pop on Teladoc. Just to give you an idea what the daily chart looks like. It is getting down towards, we had, of course, we had that May low at 130. So 130 even is coming into play for Teladoc. I think if it bounces there and consolidates, maybe that's a place to start getting into this thing. I've been waiting for it to actually flush out. I think we talked about this when it was consolidating at 180. I was sort of looking for it to flush back out just to get an idea of when to come in at a better valuation. If it breaks this 130 level, I mean, it gets really, really fun if you get to $100, but if it consolidates 130, that's not a bad place to step in. I'm shorting this thing until it probably breaks 140 on pops today, so you'll see me likely short Teladoc, although not a ton of pre-market volume, it's in play. You're only going to trade this thing on earnings usually as a day trader.
All right, so Bitcoin almost gets to 41,000, just got slammed back down through 40,000. So volatility continues in crypto names worth a watch today. Let's move on to some of these Chinese names. The group trying to bounce here. A number of these online education companies specifically back in positive territory. We saw on the imbalance locator there some big numbers to the buy side, 12% here. I just brought TAL up, but I mean, we can look at any of these. The daily chart speaks for itself, but nice recovery, I should say, late in the day yesterday.
Yeah, these were strong. Look, it doesn't really show the trades because that's what it always does. I had one trade in TAL. We had a breakout, and then it absolutely flushed. So we had to give up that long trade, and then it made a nice little bottom that I really didn't see. So I didn't see it coming, and then we got another breakout. We're holding the highs, breaking back up. It's in perspective. These stocks have all gotten beaten up. You saw Brennan show the daily chart there. So I kind of look at these post-market levels here up at 6, where you had the breakout at 7 even, and I'm looking at TAL just because that's the one I've traded the last couple of sessions here, so a little more comfortable with it. I look at that $6 level as it needs to bounce off that price at the open. If you're going to be bullish. And I think it does set up for that rollover trade at 660. Just watch out. These, like when the algos are buying this one on the way to the upside, like it does get pretty hairy and it can get very difficult to read the size on the level 2 there. So I'm going to play off price action. If I do a rollover trade, this time I wouldn't give it any room past that 660 level, guys. I'd just go probably like a 650 short and then a 660 out. Something very, very clean. If it can bounce off 6, that's going to be a good one. There was just, oh my goodness. Whatever. Fakes, I just mentioned about like crazy size on level 2 and this stupid, not stupid. GRVI just had a stacked bid at 617 on like 3 different gateways for like 40 or 50,000 shares that just got flushed out of the way. Now it's back. Well, there it goes. Oh no, this is still TL. Give me a break. Why does this not change? So GRVI just has this bit of a stack bid that just came back at a lower price at 610. This was up at 617. When it got taken out, it flushed this down to 590. Now it's at a lower price. So I kind of shorted thinking it was Fugazi, and then got, to steal a line from Sean, 625 short again on that little bit of a pop. If that continues to come back up, I might throw a tighter stop here at like 640 and then wait for it to pump maybe to the upside at the open and play the short in that regard, just in case this is like real buying stepping up over and over again, but it just got filled and pulled another time here on GRVI.
We just had a nice little run up there on Tilray, so that got as high as 25. And just another spot for them, guys. We've talked about Tilray. I have an offer at 36 right now. This is what the 20-minute looks like here. And this is why I'm offering right here. I think we could beat this 35 level, so we're just going to sit right here. And then if we can get up here 14.80 and then take this out, then we're laughing. So let's wait to see what happens on Tilray. It's my only one position. I know Neil's in a lot there. I've changed a little bit of my strategy up just a little bit here. I'm trying to take a little bit less little bit less names and trying to get in on what I think is a little bit better opportunity for me. And again, change up your style. You know, that's why Brendan, myself, and Neil are here, trying to cover a lot of different things and showing you guys different opportunities. But here we go. Tilray, nothing but love to the upside. I did want to say that I just put out a reel. I don't know if any of you guys are on Instagram, but there has been, I'll copy and I'll put it in there. If you guys want to follow, there's a reel that's doing pretty good on right now for that. Oh, big earnings, there it is. And we have a few funny things on there. This is when Neil and I were back in the old school days. It's actually a video. It's actually pretty cool of the kids and I. This is when we used to sit together on the stage here. Throwback, yeah, that's right. So that was Throwback Thursday there.
Oh my God,
and now
so
these
little,
kids are so small. Like these kids are dominating now. Anyways, I still think that Gia can maybe beat Neil in a race, but we'll see. That may happen.
Gia beat a lot of people in a race, man.
Yeah, maybe not you.
I'm not that old.
She can definitely beat me. Anyways, if you guys want to follow it, please do that. That's pretty cool. And then I do have something to say here before we go on, and I'm gonna need a little bit of help from Miss V here because, like, I haven't done this in a while, okay? And the point is that there's 6,000 watching and there's only 700 likes. So we haven't done this in a while, Valeria, but why is that? Like, why can't we get more likes? Yeah, show them that smile one more time.
Sean, I'm pretty sure we can, team. I believe in you. Guys, we really would love your support, our hardworking, and just support the community, guys. It takes just 1 second to hit the like, and I know you're super busy, so here we are to remind you. It's like o'clock.
Okay, so right there, Valeria, I want to give a big thank you to everybody there. We'll punch it out. We just doubled our likes. We're going to be up to triple very, very soon. We were just at 700, okay? Now we're at 1.6 right now. So we're almost tripled up these likes. There, it just went from 1.6 to 1.5. What just happened there? So hopefully YouTube's not messing around with us. There it is, 1.7. Thank you. How you like that, Valeria? I think we're a pretty dynamic duo right there. 1.8K right now. So there we go. Get ready for Miss V. 1.9K right now. Can we get to 2,000? Can we get to 2,100? Can we get to 2,200 and sold? So guys, if we can get that to 3,000, that would be absolutely fantastic. Thank you for all of the love right there. That's 2K right there. So there's a triple, guys, in 1 minute. So you smile, I smile, we all smile. Thank you so much for all of the love there. That's a triple up there in under a minute. You guys are the best. And there goes Tilray rewarding everybody with a 30-cent winner. That's a good idea. Let's go.
Let's absolutely go. Those likes brought to you by Vegemite, by the way. Let's go to the big screen with Brennan.
All right, guys. We'll talk about some small caps, too. There are a few. INFI gets absolutely destroyed yesterday following earnings. We come in this morning, number of analysts, price target increases, upgrades, things of that nature, including Citigroup apparently taking a position, probably down here somewhere, in this company. So INFI up big time today, all the way back on the daily chart, or not all the way back, but pretty damn close. If you go to the daily chart, 250, 260 is the bottom end of the range that it had been in for months and months and months. So a heads up at 250, 260 to the upside for INFI. Otherwise, yeah, we got down to 120, 115 at the bottom yesterday, guys.
And look, we're in that INFI. Just to give you an idea, I got some more out here when it got to this 218 peak, but I missed the dip by at 205. I was kind of thinking we'd get to $2 again. I did say this could be a candidate for a rollover at that 240 level. It's 235. It's going to be the current high. I got into that Spirit. This is another small cap name, guys, SPRT. Sorry, look, I call it Spirit because SPRT. This is, of course, support.com. It just made a bit of a pop into 9. Which was a nice little flush down price here. This double topped, right? So it did a bit of a double top at 950. I was actually in along when I sat down, and it tried to take out that high. So when I saw it retest the second time, I probably should have been in the short at that point. I did miss it. Now it's breaking to the downside. I want to see it hold that $9 range for this particular short. No averaging in the last 5 minutes before the open. If it does break this level, I'm looking right back to that double top. So, you know, much like OBSV, ORSBV, or whatever the heck that symbol was yesterday, I kind of forget it already. If it does make a break, I'll have a tighter stop and look to re-enter the trade at a better price. That was a home run yesterday. Sometimes you get out early and it's a good short, but I'd rather play this one at least with some caution after it's held higher lows in the pre-market. But the selling off that double top in support has certainly been there. And I want to make sure we get more profit out on SPRT. We mentioned Teladoc. I'm going to be shorting any pop that we get on Teladoc. And I don't know if we kind of went over TAL a little bit there. I'm not sure we did a chance to go over any other names there, Sean, like Neo maybe?
Yeah, I'm going to go over Neo in a second, but I am long right now. Small position as Facebook takes out the top. I absolutely love this name. We're long 375.15 right now. So we've seen this go for a run. This is already at all-time highs. I love this name, Facebook. Let's see if it goes, man. It's already printing me 75 cents in the money. Well, I mean, that was one print, sorry, at 75, which was 60 cents. But right now we're just printing in here. There's another 68 print. So let's put an order way up and then get out of a little bit and then see if we can still hold this. Because right now, there's another win for us. So it's Cowbell Central right now. We just took it out at 27 or 28 there. We took out some Tilray. I do have a higher offer now around 40. That's not high. No, that's 1540, sorry. 1470 we're now offering our next load on Tilray. We've got Facebook. We're talking all about that one. We'll see where this one wants to go. But look at the spread here, guys. Spready. It was just 95 cents on the spread. But a new position alert. We are now long Facebook on this break. I'm loving it, and we're loving Tilray as well. So let's go. New position alert all over the place. Follow on Twitter, follow on Instagram. I'm posting right now this position on Twitter as we speak.
Oh, here goes that TL. This made a break to the high side there. It didn't take out the high. This is like a 655 top. We said we wanted this for the 930 rollover. It's 928, so it's not quite time. But look, it already spiked to this price a couple of times here. We know it can be a strong one. I said I would not let this one go past the 660 level. I just got in at 46s. So I'm going to be, stick to your word here and just sort of say, if it breaks 660, I'm out. I think we can take some out safely in front of those quarters. Both of these names, I include EDU with this, and then there was a third one, which we didn't actually trade, Sean and I. There was a third one, I kind of forget the name of it right here, but there were 3 Chinese education companies, all 3 of them up on the session, but remember where they've come from. You might see up 15%, but this was like a $70 stock just months ago, guys. So it has a lot of runway if it does catch a bit of a bid, and a 660 breakout will get me out of this short 100%.
All right, let's go. We're just tweeting this out right now as we're watching our positions, and I'm just tweeting it out so everyone can follow along if you wanted to. Facebook, no idea. I mean, this thing could fall. Remember what we talked about? This is a very, very risky spot here for Facebook, but we did take that break. I wanted a little bit on 375 just in case that did come in or did not come in and continue to go. So we do have bids lower on this name, down to 371-ish down here. So I don't want to drop this thing until we get like back here, man, 366 or change. So I'm going to die on this sword today for sure on Facebook. I really think, with what Google did, I'm really, really excited about Facebook. Only a minute to go, guys. Let's see where we go from here. There's a lots that are on target. We've already taken out a 40% of our Tilray for about 25 cents each time, and now we'll wait to see what Facebook does. We have Apple, AMD. I mean, AMD is going to look at 94 in the face here. Hopefully that can go as well. Starbucks lower, EDU, NEO. Oh, NEO, we didn't talk about that quickly.
Right.
NEO, 41.50. I like that long. Yesterday's long. 41.50. A quick look at the imbalance locator. Quick. EDU and NEO's on there as a buy. DD, a few other names. Nothing on the NASDAQ here really to worry about. BABA on a buy as well. So let's go Chinese names.
There you go. Look, man, I kind of knew that you wanted to talk about NEO. That's why I threw it out there. I knew we wanted to get to that one. But I have my board back. It's actually working, so I can hit the countdown this morning. I guess we have Randy 2 days in a row. Trader TV Randy is in the house. He's going to be ringing the bell. It is a Wednesday. It is hump day. It is Fed day. It is blowout earnings day. 3, 2, and 1. Let's get this party started. Why am I in Apple already? That's interesting.
All right, let's go, guys. Okay, so Tilray's starting to try to go here a little bit. We are now open. It's a NASDAQ name, so this name could be open and start to fly if it wants to. We'll see how high it goes. Now we're into the 30s, a nice win here. 30 cents now in the money on Tilray, but it's having a hard time getting past that 14.30 level. Maybe we'll take out one more piece.
Yeah, and Apple immediately dips into that first pre-market low, guys. I'll see if I can't get a quick little scalp trade on that one, but GRVI does a bit of a pop, so gotta manage this trade. We had like 930 rollovers type idea, and we were able to get that last fill in there, and of course, I'm not gonna get any more. It's just gonna go downside, so we'll celebrate the win on GRVI, although I thought I'd have a chance to add to this position. We've been short all over this one all morning long. Apple's basically flat. I got 144.50 to that long side, and then the other one was at SPRT. This one's starting to flush in. I should not be looking gift horses in the mouth. If it's going to give me a chance to get out in front of that support level, or at least some out in front of it, I'll go ahead and pop a bid in front of 835.
Okay, so right now we're just monstrous again right now. Again, we're doing it one more time because this is up to 377 right now for Facebook. What a great rip that went upside there. So if you want to take it out, take it out. I was waiting for 379, so we'll wait to see. But this is a $2 winner now for us on Facebook. Maybe we'll take a piece out here for $2, and then we'll get the rest out after. We are now in Apple as well. Let's see where this one can go. We're long at 144 even right now, guys. Apple long, Facebook long, and just destroying it. Let's go.
Yeah, I actually just keystroked out of Apple. So we had this question on our Q&A. What happens if you make a keystroke error and get out of a trade, winner or loser? If you don't have to pay spread, just jump right back into it. I'm not going to look at gift horse them out. I don't know that's who's got spirit. Yes, I don't know. However it works. But SPRT is support, not spirit. I will probably call it spirit a bunch of times today. Flushing right through pre-market lows here at $8. I'm getting some more. I'm going to hang on to this trade. This is a $7 stock, guys. It was a $7 stock at the close.
Holy.
I think we can get at least back to that 750 area.
It's happening again, guys. And I'm not going to apologize this time for this. No apologies. Bang! Let's go right now, guys. We'll hit the sirens. Big move up for Tilray. I told you, I'm done apologizing for these big winners. Yesterday, we were apologizing for them. We are not today. Tilray to the upside. Big movement, guys. We take out 2/3 of our Facebook trade as it bounces off 377. We take it out at 376.50 there, 2/3 out. That's a $1.50 winner. Tilray 70 cents in the money. And here we go, Neo. Here we go. As this one keeps on ripping to the upside as well. Well, what are we on today? This has just been a crazy run. 40-20 bid. out right there, 40.48. That's another one there for NEO. So let's just see how this just keeps on ripping to the upside, man. Big trade alert all over the place here. Facebook 70 cents in the money and still going. NEO 25 cents. Tilray 90 cents in the money. The only problem here is Apple on its way downside. So let's see where we go. I got to have an out for this one, but Apple on the way down. Almost irrelevant considering what we've done everywhere else, but we want to have all winners. So let's go on Apple.
Yeah, I mean, Apple's going to be the one that's going to be the loser for me, it looks like. But TAL was basically the perfect entry off that 660. It's right back to support at 615. I did take some out. Want to see if we can't continue to short the pops there, but Apple's going to be a little bit of a dog. GRVI is popping to the upside as well, guys. So got to watch out. Is it just halts? Of course, it just halts. I'm literally sitting there trying to get out and my stop doesn't fill. Watch out, GRVI on a halt. Thank goodness we took something out of that stock, so we're not all in on that one. Otherwise, that would be an ugly one. 5-minute or 10-minute halt on GRVI because it is a volatility halt last I checked.
Okay, we're in Apple right now, so we just have to take another long and this is it. So we're gonna be waiting now for a 141 break or 142 break, something to the downside. Look at the NASDAQ. We talked about this, man, off earnings. So this is the one thing that I said we would wait. I know Neil had that 144.50. I didn't have much better. 144 even, 143.50, now 143. So my stop order, guys, just to see where that is. Yeah, a break of 142 to the downside. I mean, I think we could probably get that break of 142, and that's a good call again by you guys on the chat when you mentioned that, you know, Apple sold off last earnings, and we identified that. I mean, I was definitely certain about it. That's why we don't have any like breaking out the tops. That's why we didn't start it up here. I mean, I thought this was a good bid. Let's see where we go now. I can't believe I'm talking about this when I'm down 30 cents on this name right now. NEO's in the money 40 cents. Tilray's in the money 70 cents. And Facebook, we already cleaned that one up, so let's see where that goes. Let's hope Apple can make its move back to the upside, and we're already killing it on NEO. What's up, Brendan?
Another one we talked about, guys, Spotify starting to bounce here, trying to bounce off 216, 215, bottom end of the daily chart range here. Initial selling seems to have dissipated, still 6-7% for Spotify.
And Spotify, I mean, like, I know that was a weak name. Also a weak name was Teladoc here. That just popped right into that 138 level that we talked about. It was the only thing I had on the big cap name that was going to be to the short side. So it pops in, it gives me the fill at 137.65. Immediately able to take out a dollar winner on the scalp trade. I want to continue to rinse and repeat this one over and over again. I know Teladoc, at some point, I want to dip. I've been trying to find a way to get into this stock, and I wanted to flush to $100. I'm not saying it gets there. 130 is a monster level. If that breaches, anything could happen with Teladoc. For now, I'm shorting in front of that 138 to 140 range, and then see if we can't get that one to win. I just got into Apple when it bounced back through 143, just added back into Apple, I should say, not got into it. But SPRT, and I'm waiting for GRVI to open back up, but SPRT gets very close to that 750 mark. That's kind of close enough that if I can get these 3 quarters here, I'll go ahead and take the next leg out. And then cancel this bid. We're just going to let this one ride at this point. I mean, SPRT support has been a nice little flush off of the open here. No reason to see if it can't go all the way back to $7 at this point. And then maybe short a pop if it gets back towards that 835 to 840 area.
Okay, so yeah, we could have just taken this out there. Apple goes all the way back to in the money for us, and actually it was only in the money a dime. It got as high as 143.60 there before failing. Look at the NASDAQ, man. This is not going to be a recipe for success if you're holding any of these tech names. And again, we've talked about that. We said maybe get light and don't trade these to the long side. Wait for the market to tell you what to do. So we've bottom picked Apple here, and we're going to hold it. You know, we're not trying to have diamond hands or anything. I just think this is a little bit overdone. Again, the Facebook, we're almost turned negative on this trade, believe it or not. Now, we've already gotten out of 2/3, and that was a good trade. So the 2/3 out for $1.50, but now we're out of the money, $2 on 1/3 of it. So Facebook's about to turn red for us on the day, but I want to pick some up anyways on the downside. So I'm trying to find spots here for Facebook where we want to get it. Some of my bids are even lower than this. 370 and change. So we'll see about that. NEO, we just spit again in the face of, we were long at 40.20. It went all the way up to 40.80 there for NEO, but we did empty some out. Let's get some more out here. If it comes back again to 40.80, we'll take that out, as I don't want to be long everything here as the NASDAQ continues to give back everything today. Look at this big move to the downside, and this is expected, guys. So again, thank you for watching, and I hope that you understand what is happening. But right now, look what's happening with Tilray. This is $1 in the money and hitting some sirens. So this is a good trade for us. Brendan's got more. There goes Microsoft as well. What's up, Brendan?
We talked about QuantumScape end of the day yesterday, guys. They reported as well, 6% here straight to the upside, trying very hard, in fact, to get above some levels for QS as well.
Yeah, that's right. There was a big list. There was a lot of earnings we probably didn't get to. SPRT support just popped back in. I said if it got back to some of these support levels from the morning in the pre-market, I would get back into some more short. It's the first one since the pre-market, right here at that 820 level. If it retests 775 to 8 even, which it's kind of doing right now, I'll rinse and repeat, take some of that out. As Apple tries to bounce, I mean, if that 144 turns into resistance from support on Apple, you're going to see me start to take some profit out. The only way that we actually made money on Tesla yesterday, where it got close to flat, was the ability to have stops and then get back into it, guys. And there's the reopen on that GRVI, which I just take it out. Look, anytime you're ever in a halt, I don't care what the situation is, I'm always going to be taking it out. So, like, I know it's retesting the high of the day here, but, you know, who cares? Like, I had just shorted at an absolutely horrible opportune price. Never leave orders out at a price like that, but the shorts were pretty good earlier on. Now it's holding that pre-market high at 740. I would go with a 741 breakout stop. You can go short in front of it if you like. I think that makes a ton of sense to go both directions, but GRVI absolutely off to the races here, guys, and 740 can be a big breakout. I might try shorting in front just because of that double top, though.
Okay, yeah, we're going to have to try to manage our Facebook trade here as some of them are starting to go to the downside right there. Okay, Microsoft just cracked, so Microsoft turns red. This is a small hit, but we did talk about getting some 286s. We got some out there at 285. I don't want to hold everything to the long side, so again, we've talked about that a little bit now. So Microsoft, I'll get back into Microsoft here, but Facebook is really the name now that we're looking to do some damage on. We've just averaged in now, and we're going to be done. So this is going to be a big win for us if it can go up, but at the same time, we are staring that 370 in the face. So if that does break, then we want to get out of that one. We're setting our stop order right now. It looks like the NASDAQ doesn't want to give up wants to give up some of these gains today, as here comes Facebook breaking that 370. What's up, Brendo?
So maybe it's day 2 for GE, guys. You remember yesterday we had the gap to the upside and then it just kind of faded all morning long. Not today, straight higher for GE, 3% already.
Yeah, GE making moves to the upside. Teladoc, I mean, I maybe looked to give towards the mouth at 135. I kind of thought we were retesting down to this 134 range, be able to catch like a $4 or $5 winner. I'll reload this if it tests to the high. I mean, at the end of the day, it has bad earnings. We just turned red on the market. It's hard to imagine that Teladoc is going to hold up under those circumstances. Probably ignored INFI a little bit here today, but I did say it was a 2 even stop. It broke to the upside. I did not get any out at 225. I'm going to go with that 225 stop. I did a rollover trade in a couple of other names at 930. This is one that I like to that long side, but if it can't hold 2, I'm just going to cover this INFI no matter what.
Wow, okay. We tried one more time on Facebook and it just cracked again. So right now, the only one that's winning for us, oh, you know what? Why is my Starbucks? What happened to Starbucks there? 120. Okay, so again, the name that I thought was going to be short is not doing anything today, let alone what this market is thinking about doing. We got to get back in at some point. I mean, this NASDAQ isn't going to continue to fall like this all day, is it? I mean, you're only down that 0.16. We could be a hell of a lot lower at some point. Basically, we just picked the wrong name to mess with today because Facebook, a nice win early, but then the average in and then the loss. We still have some on board. I mean, we can make this back, but that might have been the wipeout there. What was that, 368.50? Finding some bottoms from yesterday here. This is still a 1-minute chart. We can maybe even change this. This is 366. Yeah, I mean, if we have to dig into that one again, I'm getting visions of Goldman Sachs again here, where I like the long off the report. They didn't report Facebook is coming, but Facebook just continues to make moves to the downside here. I'm very, very bullish about the name, so I'm not going to stop talking about it. But again, it hasn't traded well, and we always say the ball doesn't lie, and in this situation, price action doesn't lie. So it doesn't matter what I think. Right now, Facebook is making moves to the downside right now.
And look, it's going to happen from time to time. I'll go over this at some point, like what the mistake was on the leaving an order out there at, not a horrible loss when you take 70s and then get out here on the reopen on GRVI, but it's a horrible mistake because I know not to do it. We jumped right back into that trade when it failed double top. Was able to get some out in front of that halt price, but it's still holding up. This could be a breakout at 740. If it holds the halt price, I'm going long and reversing this position, but for now, it's all about that short. If it breaks this 675, we could be headed right back down towards 6. Brendo?
Pfizer, guys, another one having a nice day here, up 2.25%. 43.08 was 52-week highs, not all-time highs, obviously, but 43.08 could be significant here. Nice look for PFE.
I don't mind that Pfizer play at all, but I do prefer Moderna. We've talked about that. I know they have a lot of cancer stuff on the work right now, so we'll see about that. Ah, man, damn it. Tried to buy more Facebook there off that 367 and missed it. So if it does come, ooh, did I just get that? No, I did not. I'm in the 60s there. I thought I would have got filled there. But we are waiting for this to come back in a little bit so we can get longer there on Facebook. I just wonder if that was the dip down for Facebook. We're still in it. You can see we're still at the long 370, but we did dump out of the majority of that position there. But we're still going to hold it, still try to battle that back. Apple on a breakthrough 143. Let's see if we've just maybe made a bottom there, 142.70 or so. Not horrible, a breakthrough 143, and we'll try it. Tilray continues, man. Oh, shoot. Let's cancel. My offer was 1540 right here. So there we go, all the way to the upside. What's up, Brendo?
FLGC, big mover past couple of days, just halted upside, guys. Volume a little bit lighter today, but big move there, 550 to 620. Halt upside for FLGC.
Halt upside on FLGC, halt downside on GRVI. Look, we say this over and over again, and like at some point I'll go in depth when markets stop moving and I don't have all of these positions on, but halting to the downside, double top, we said cover on the reopen, get back in at 720. I tried to add this, but couldn't actually add to it. I actually covered some here at 687. Yeah, I'm not getting out. I'm adding on the halt to the downside. So you'll see my average price be in the middle here at like a 670. That's because I still had some from the top and then added to it at the bottom 640. I will always get out at least half of the position on whatever the reopen price is going to be, guys. So once we reopen, I don't care whether they open at 550 or like 610. I'm definitely going to be covering on that liquidity event. So got a few minutes here to make sure that works out. I can tell you it's still looking pretty ugly over there in Apple, though, as it continuously tries to hold the line here at 142.50. We're not getting significant bounces, though. So if this level breaks, I mean, 142 was a good level. We kind of talked about that, but the ultimate buy zone long term is like if that 138 is a great level on Apple. I'm not saying we see it here today, but the way it's headed, maybe we get that at the end of the week. And if you do, I think that's a great place to buy Apple. It needs to bounce. It's 3 times we've tested a 142.50 low. You need to bounce up to VWAP to convince me that we're actually going to withstand this, at least for the first hour of the session. The algos came in and they wanted to sell Apple today.
Man, are we ever crushing this on Tilray today? Thank God, because yeah, our other long's not working out. And I've been not making fun of it, but we talked about weed and how I like to short every single thing that comes through. But today we're feeling these kind of vibes because yeah, it's straight to the upside right now with Tilray. If it takes out that 1540, then we're laughing. That's essentially where my order, that's not essentially, that is where my order was. So we'll see about that now. If it can still continue to go high, we'll see about Tilray, and no pun intended there for that. Okay, so we did get our Facebook long. If we take out these levels that I just talked about, then we're going to finally give it up. 366 and we're gone on Facebook as the NASDAQ, man, just can't keep going down. Can it? We will wait to see, but it's Miss V there over at the big screen. Miss V, we need that green to start working on overtime right now.
Sure, Sean. Medical equipment company Nano Vibronics is up more than 30%, guys. Could you take a look at NAOV, guys?
I remember NAOV. So look, I'm obviously in a few positions here, as you can kind of tell, but NAOV was one that was completely off my radar because it was sort of barcoding and already to the downside after gapping up and not doing a heck of a lot. But that's the same thing as GRVI there, where you get a pop, it doesn't halt somehow. Now, 160 to 2, whatever. It doesn't halt, but it puts a double top in just like GRVI did, which is currently halted. I'm in that halt to the short side. But you look at that double top here at 204, that's a fantastic setup. Hope somebody got that. It does set up for a bit of a breakout. If it 15-minute chart frozen there, so gone. It does set up for a bit of a breakout through that price, if only because look where this stock was just a couple of sessions ago at a 380 top. So there's room to run if it takes out 204. I'm still not certain why it didn't halt in that move, but either way, you got to catch those in front of pre-market highs when you can, but you can't jump in and chase this one, right? Like GRVI chased it because it halted to the downside, and I took the halt print. NAOV, even if I think that's a good level to short, I wouldn't take it down here to 185, but definitely sets up nicely for potential $2 or sorry, 205 break.
Okay, guys, yeah, roller coasters in motion today for sure, Dan McIsaac there. But we're back in the money on Apple. So 143.20, we talked about taking the long if it did break above that 143. So we did that. Then we lighten up just a little bit there in the 30s. And now we're starting to go for Apple and back in the money for us. So good trade here if it continues to go. But again, Apple will try to lead the way here. If it fails, we're going to be in a big problem. So let's hope that Apple can continue to go up. Here we go, guys. So a nice little 20-cent win. Plus now on Apple, go, go, go. My offer's in the 60s right now. So if Apple can go, this will be a big win for us for sure. It's 40 cents in the money. You might not think it's a lot, but we've averaged into this position. So we're scalpers here, and I'm going to take these out. Damn it, it was just in the 60s there. I was at 67. So we'll wait. Maybe we got to put that order a little bit lower, but that's starting to go now as well. Tilray, that's $2 in the money. So hey, what's going on? Hopefully that can keep going upside now, as that's at $16, man. 25% up for Tilray. So congratulations to everybody on the chat yesterday. You talked about this at the 315 show. You liked the name. We told you Weed Batman would be in the building. The number one stock on the board here is Mr. Weed Batman, as Tilray continues to go to the upside. Big trade alert right there. I think we'll get out at 1560 if it comes back in. I'm not going to let this one go, man. This is 23%.
Yeah, and that's a big short interest that they, well, I think Brendan mentioned what, but it's pretty solid short interest that Tilray does have. Always on GRVI, get some out on that reopen. It's just open here at 6:30, so you get that quick little scalp trade. We had this one at 7:20. Well, here's a bottom at 590. I think we can take out this low of the day here, but I want to still maintain the short position, even if it breaks this 640 halt price. I still want to be looking back to that original halt up at about 680 to re-enter that short, guys. So it's been a good one. Apple is back to that 143.50. It's basically a break even for me. I lightened my load by a third on that last little pop. But GRVI looking relatively weak here as it halted to the downside. I want to see if I can't add back into this position short, because this one looks like it might be geared up to take out that low.
Just a little more push, Apple. Come on, get into the 60s, baby. That's where we're sitting there waiting to get out of this. You're going to get some out of this, but it doesn't look like it wants to get past this 50 mark here, as it's right at VWAP, guys. It's right here. So a little, just 10 more cents. Come on, you're a $144 name. Let's get going here a little bit more. I'm sitting at 143.67. That maybe it's a little bit too high. We can get out of it right there in the 50s if we want. Let's put an offer in the 50s and see if we get taken out there on Apple. 143. Where did that even go? Did my order even go out there? No, it did not. There we go. Push offer, enter. There it is. So there's the out there at 54. 14. There it goes. Now it goes into the 60s. What a joke. We'll see that there. 67s. Okay. So we just gave up some money there on that. We gave up 10 cents. Now it's going, guys. Good trade here on Apple. We're in the money, 55 cents. You might have heard me under my breath say pay yourself. So I did that a little bit there on Facebook as it's starting to go back to the upside. We're long at 368. It just ripped up to 368.90 there. So we did take a piece off. That's why I was saying pay yourself. We were long off 366. Let's now hold this to the back end here. Man, we are making some cash now, boys, as this is starting to go back to the upside right now. So Sean, pay yourself again. We'll tell ourselves that one more time. So there it is now. We're riding on the scooter today as it's nothing but love right now recently. Tilray now, look at these trades. Tilray, $2 in the money. Neo, one trade, 27 cents in the money right now. Facebook has been bad, but we've made back more than half. And then Apple's been a big, big win for us today. So yeah, so far today, man, it's bullseye central. We don't have the exact prices, but we have pretty good 180. Let's go.
180. What's that 180? I haven't seen the stock at 180, but who cares? I'm
That's
watching
darts.
I know it's darts. I love darts, by the way. I'm watching Sundial because Tilray's making a move to the upside. Sundial's only up 10%. If that gets to $1, you know I'm all over it. If it double tops here at 88 cents, I'm all over it as well. But I just added back into TAL. We only had it off the high at this 640 price. First time adding here, just shy of VWAP, guys. So, or just above VWAP at about 620. Let's see if it can't roll over one more time. This INFI needs to get off the schneid. It's been only a winning trade, but it's still trying to break out to that high of the day. And it's getting to that point where, you know what? Okay, execute first. Execute first. As it fails off that high, I've shown you like multiple times here where basically you're shorting stocks off of a double top. If it's going to do that, and I miss this reentry on the long trade, take the profit on the long, and then let's start thinking about that short off the high of the day because it's setting up for it. I might as well have it, guys. You can get back into a long on a breakout, but you can't sit there and then miss out on a setup that you know I'm going to like. So I'm going to get into the short trade here. It needs to get off the schneid. It couldn't do it. I'm going to go 235 as the stop, rounding it up. Pre-market high is at 33. So Infinity now short. The only thing I'm long now is Apple. Let's see if these can't come to the downside, except for Apple. Brendo?
Some other Chinese names trying to bounce here, guys. XPeng just back to day highs, session highs anyways. Testing this 37 on decent volume, up more, in fact, than NIO even today.
Yeah, NIO right now, we are in the money 40 cents right now on NIO, looking to take out its day high of 40. I mean, you know, this happens every morning where we get these crazy wicks down and up and down and up on NIO. So the day high is kind of irrelevant at this point. But right now we are getting ready to break through 370 on Facebook. This is a $2 winner on board, man. We're doing it again today for you. Facebook's been a hard one for sure. So let's not pretend that this has been an easy trade, because it hasn't. We've had to average in. We did take some losers here. If we can get back to 371, then we're flat on the day for Facebook. But I do have some offers in the middle there, like $1 higher. But this is a nice rebound for NASDAQ as it just turns green. And by the way, guys, there's $1 right there. So we'll go, you want the Centurion again? We'll do that. So there's another move there. 144 out on Facebook. So it's right here, right now. We are long 143.13. So that's a pretty nice trade right there for Apple as it continues to motor to the upside. So all good over here. Tilray, we still have that drop spot. It's up 25%, guys. Wow, that went to 16. We got to do some more work on Tilray. What is this 50-period moving average? 17.25. Holy crow. Those of you that took this trade yesterday, congratulations. I'm already long this name, and I don't even know the price. But yeah, okay, here we go. We're going to get out of it. It breaks back below. So we've talked about this before. We should have got out upside when we saw that blew to 30% on the day. But here we go. We are going to get dumped out here if it breaks through 1560. Celebrate the win when it's there, man. You heard me say it a couple times today. Pay yourself. You got to do that. So we've already done that to the upside. I just can't believe how well Tilray is trading here today. Facebook keeps bouncing around 370. So maybe we'll take another piece out. We don't have to get too greedy. Let me cancel my 370.40, and we'll see about getting one a little bit out right in this area now. And then we'll see if it wants to go higher. There it is. So there's the out there. Nice trade, man, on Facebook. That's a $2 win there. So yeah, today it's been good. I'm going to do the football one, but right now we'll just do this. We're firing off some hot dogs as the market's coming back for us.
Yeah, and I just told you guys about getting out of that long on INFI and reversing into a short position off the high of the day, round up to 235. I'm not using 233 as a stop. I kind of never do. But we go short. It then fails right here at 234. It's like add to the position there, cover some at VWAP. You guys kind of know what the plan is going to be when it comes to any of these setups, guys. So it looks like a good one. We had an initial win on Teladoc. It's been a roller coaster on, whoops. We had a roller coaster on Teladoc. We had an initial one on Teladoc. We get short the second time. It gets stopped out. And then it basically wicks out. Now, I want to point out, after market, this is like 141 here, the lower high that it put in. And then you had a pre-market low of, high of 140. So it breaks 140. I stop out. It immediately fails at that aftermarket high. To me, that's always going to be re-entry. It's like a failed break back to the upside. So I jump back into the short when it gives me a retest because I didn't catch it here. I quickly scalp out at this 139 level. I'll take the rest out at VWAP. I only want to play it to the south side today. I know it's only down 7%. It was down 10%. I just think it's crazy that Teladoc is going to break out from these levels here. Apple, trying to get to that 144. Next level, I think, is that 145 range. If it turns there, much like Tesla, I might just take it off for that kind of a win and then go hunting back for the dip buys. It's been a fun morning, but we have a lot of trades on, and I do want to make sure I recover all the names that we're watching here because SPRT, this has come right back in. We got a reload. We got a nice little scalp trade from 20s to 790s. We still have not had anything as good as the $1 winner from the pre-market, but this is primed to roll over again. It took this support level and turned it into resistance at 835, shy of VWAP. Now we'll short off of that price, try and get some quarters.
All right, guys, let's go, man. Thank you for all of the love on the chat. You guys want it. Let's do it.
Money.
I mean, today, guys, this has been such a great morning if you were able to hold on. It hasn't been a super profitable one, but thank God this market bounced back and we're able to pick some of these bottoms on these names. And this is what happens when you believe in things, guys. You have to stick with them. And, I like the talk in the chat. People said, hey, if you're not losing enough, you're not trading enough. And honestly, that it wasn't scary. We were losing, but it wasn't a lot. But now we're right back into things, man, and starting to crush it right now. $3 in the money on Facebook, $1.70 in the money on Apple right now. Tilray, we did get out of that. It broke that 1560. We can't, claim to be disciplined and not take it out when it hits our stop. So we did that on that one. NEO now, I mean, you want to do that again. Let's do it one more time. Spin it for NEO, as this one is a nice trade to the upside now as well. 70 cents in the money here. The one name that we gave up on that I didn't go back to, which I should have, it's my favorite name for sure. Yeah, I know, Desmond. I see that I missed Palantir. That's my favorite for sure. It's funny because Palantir is Microsoft and Palantir, 1-to-1. You guys know that. We did give up on Microsoft when we should not have, as that one's right back to 287 now and still going to the upside. So, we're huge right now. So, let's just continue to hope that things can work out well for us. Facebook on that move. Watch out for that 370.50. You can see the NASDAQ stops there just shy of this level, which goes back to here in the pre-market. So, we're going to wait for it. Here's the NASDAQ big chart right here. So right into this area right now. So we got to get above this 1480. 15,000 would be great. We can get back to that. Then you'll see, then we'll be laughing. But for right now, Facebook up to 370.50. I said if we got back to 371, we would be flat on the day for it. That's changed because I did take that piece out. So now we got to get a little bit higher. And I'm not trading my P&L. That's one mistake that you don't want to do. So we're just trying to trade off of levels here. I just think a 370 break, 370.50 break gets us maybe up here to 371. So let's put an offer around 371 and see if we can get that out. But right now, things rocking and rolling for us.
Yeah, and just going to go back over to the GRVI, it's consolidating lower. I have added to that position, but if it breaks this 6 even, I think you have to look at 587. That's the key. I just covered Apple as it looked like it was slowing down at 144.50. Remember, that's where it broke down right at the open. So for me, we're going to get out of that one. I was able to scalp some out of a Teladoc, and I'm going to be jumping right back into it. I think I want to stay on the net side of the short there. And of course, right as I mentioned, we're starting to break down here on GRVI. So if I can't add up around that 625 mark, might have to pay down just a little bit here. I don't want to chase it too far, but I think this one could be making a big move down through that 585. I just want a few more shares here into the sell side of the trade while it is still working. This one could absolutely flush. It's already halted twice. If it broke 585, I think it's unlikely to halt, if only because this 550 level from the pre-market might find some bidders down at that particular price. I don't have my earpiece, guys, because I had to go charge it, but I think we are ready now for Brendan at the big screen. It is time for Happening Now.
Hey guys, 10 o'clock. Let's have a look at how things stand at this point. Still in the red as far as the Dow and the S&P are concerned. Only just trying to get back to the upside as well. Tech stock still in the lead. You remember in the pre-market we saw about 0.5% here, 0.4, 0.2 for the composite in the 100. The Russell 0.8% to the upside. Small caps holding up pretty strong. Dead flat here in Toronto so far for the TSX. A couple of things we were looking at in the pre-market. Boeing still holding on to gains, but really hasn't done much since the actual open. Tons of volume here, but tested 237 back to 232. So still kind of in the top end of the range from the pre-market. Coinbase as well. Same story here. We did test above the pre-market highs and the lows as well, but back into the range, guys. Bitcoin kind of trying to roll over here as well. Back to you.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
All right, we can watch some GBTC. We'll definitely have a look at that as it's going. But right now, man, my focus is all on the profits that are in my blotter right now. With NIO right now up $1 and change. We talked about it trying to take out some of these highs. So this is going to be a good one for us on NIO as it continues to make moves upside right now. So we're really happy with that form here on NIO. So we'll see where that goes. I mean, hopefully it continues, man. We looked at 41.50 there, but we always trying to buy dips. We did it yesterday on NEO, and guess what? We're doing it again. Facebook right back to $2.50 in the money, man. Right at this 370.50 level. Debating taking some out right now on this. As look, I still think there's a lot more to come, so we're going to wait for 370.79. This is a $3 winner now for us on Facebook. So hopefully you're enjoying this, guys. And there it is, Apple as well, $1.70 in the money. So yeah, things happening for us right now. So let's just hopefully we can start getting some of our targets now. Apple back to, I mean, look, when you're buying here and selling up here, it's a good trade. So let's see how far Apple wants to go now. I want to hold on to this name.
And here comes that TL one more time. We've only shorted it twice, guys. We got that first short here. Now it's testing that high of the day at 660. I did add to that GRVI, which is popping back up. If 660 goes, we know we're out of this trade. There we go. hard stop no matter what on this one. Just keep in mind, you got to go to the higher time frame. You got to know where the stock has come from. There is a ton of room to the upside if this one continues to run. How did that level too? If this one continues to run through this price, you have nothing of significance till you get to about $8. So TAL, it is on the run to the upside. I don't know why it didn't reverse to the long there. We're trying to get it. We just got it there. So 663. I think we're going to start to turn bullish on this. We had a long in this stock yesterday. But today I did favor the short. We had a nice little win. Then we looked the gift horse in the mouth. We get some of that back. And now you're going to have me to the upside. It's all about price action. It's all about momentum. I can think whatever I want about the risk of the Chinese market, but the stock is up 20%. I'm sure EDU is also making some moves as well. SPRT, I don't know why we have been unable to get more shares of this stock, but it's right back at the low of the day on SPRT. I tried to catch some more shares off that double top here in front of VWAP since the open at 835. Not the price, not the time. It looks like now I'll have to hunt for maybe 8 to 815. The stock can't seem to get it its own way. It's only falling to the downside. That looks pretty weak. TL kind of looking strong if we can hold this top.
I mean, guys, look at this. I mean, I'm talking about it on the chat right now about Facebook. Like, this is now to 371 and change. We just took that out at 370.80. You know, this is the bottom wick for Facebook here. So we started there, we got out early, and then we averaged in, took a hit, bought back, you know, believe in the trade, and now you get rewarded. So I've say it over and over again, pay yourself. So let's keep doing that. Also on Apple right now, I think we should probably pay ourselves right now again. We'll see if we get some 73s out. We'll offer that. Is that Apple? Yeah. So we're going to offer some out right now on Apple. See if we get that print now to the upside if we can get it. Man, we're $1.55 in the money on Apple. So, hey, like I say, pay yourself. So we'll take that out now if we can get that. The next trade I want to look at quickly here, NEO back to the 80 cents. Oh yeah, it was Tilray. Let's check back on Tilray. We always talk about taking some profit on these names. So there it goes, man, 1560, nice move. You know, up 25%. This is probably the way to trade this, guys. As Tilray goes, like this is the way. As it goes upside, you can offer out, like play before earnings, because honestly, that's where the money is. You know, I mean, if you're going to take a risk on these names, I think you do it earnings, and then if you beat like they did with the 27% increase in revenues, I believe it was, a nice little upside for Tilray. You know, I'm definitely bullish on the sector. I've talked about that over and over again, but, you know, there needs to be more coming in order for this to be a great investment. So I'd rather get in now, get in after we get some more positive news from the federal government over there in the U.S. We have that here in Canada, so no worries on that side of things, guys.
Yeah, but I think there's some worries for Sundial because it reversed off of 88 here. Starting to come back in, guys. It is what it is. I mean, the stock is usually going to be a big fake because it's ridiculously expensive. Not literally, but you guys know from a valuation standpoint, when you check it out, it's going to be pretty ugly to look at. If it makes a double top here, I wanted a double top. If it puts in a lower high, I might fade this trade just to see if we can't get into Sundial. I've traded it pretty heavily in the past, but I've been staying away from it recently because I wanted to see some action. Tilray earnings has this thing doing 70 million shares with just 35 minutes into the market. We completely, and apologies, we completely ignored BTBT, which was on my list. This is coming all the way back in. I got in at one time, which is kind of ridiculous. But it's now testing pre-market lows here right around that $7 range. If it catches any kind of a bid off that $7 and cannot get past this price here, this is like an $8 range, also opening range at the top here, $8, and can't get past 8, it's going to be a bit of a fade on BTBT. Recovery in Bitcoin, but back below that 40,000 mark. That's why it's under pressure. Brenda, what's up?
We saw initial strength yesterday in Pinduoduo. If you remember, the initial move right at the open was straight to the upside. We've gotten above that and then some. So some key levels being taken back here for PDD, guys. Just broke $90 there on volume.
Attaboy, PDD, attaboy. We actually did get into, let's check out, there goes Tilray, still going, good call, Tilray, man, good on you. Still going upside. I mean, I hold this stock, so we'll just go slaying it. You know, slaying it today, it's my _1 stock on the day. You guys can see that, why. Shoot, there's a name I wanted to look at. What did you just say, Brendan? What was that stock? I don't remember. Okay, we can, Pinduoduo, that's right, thank you guys. But Alibaba right there, I want to look at that one as we did a buy yesterday, 183, 182, something like that, yesterday in the afternoon, and it's just been a bouncing one. So I still want to wait for 200 on this name to see if it can come through. If that does, then fantastic on that name. We will wait to see on Alibaba, hopefully making some money moves to the upside there. As Cardi B says, we'll go to the upside with that one. Tilray still making moves, man. It makes money moves too. Good out on Apple, maybe. It's up to 145 and not a good out there, but still nice hold for Apple as this is $2 in the money. Like, look at the day we're having, guys. Apple, $2 in the money. Facebook, $4 in the money. Neo, $1 in the money. Tilray, the best trade I've had all day. And then Microsoft right now, unfortunately, we did dump that, but it's nice to see that it's back to positive. So the account's making money here on the show and making money in our own account as a lot of these ones we've held. Let's see what Google's doing here. The trade desk, I probably want to get into that as well soon, but Google right now, upside, not really moving, guys. This is where we opened. We were up 4% on open, and that's where we are right now. So Google not doing a whole hell of a lot right here, guys. Was that Brendan again? What's up, bud?
BlackBerry, guys. Some news on BlackBerry. It looks like the South Korea is leading fit-for-purpose train traffic system, choosing BlackBerry's QNX software for their application needs. Nice look here. $10 up to 11 for BB.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be that big, well, come on, daily chart. You'll kind of be able to see this on the daily chart for BlackBerry, but getting right into this like $11 area, that's kind of a key level. If it does turn around here, it could be a bit of a fade. That breakout in TAL, I mean, it's trying to take, it got to 666. And then reverse. It's holding 650 for now, but if it cannot get through that price, I'm going to have to cover it. BlackBerry, I'm not saying you got to jump into a short trade because remember, it has a heavy short interest, but that 11, a decent level on the daily chart, also up pretty much exactly 10% from that move. If you do the math from a 991 close there, guys. So I think that's why you're getting a bit of a sell-off off of that range up at $11 there, guys. So BlackBerry, definitely a good one to look at. I just tried to get over into Sundial and into position on Sundial. And remember, this is a penny stock, guys, so maybe add like an extra zero. It does trade in like the 100th of a cent. So just kind of make it like $8.80 is that top, or like $9, it's 90 cents here. I was trying to get a bit of a short, but I couldn't quite catch it passively just now on Sundial. It's rolling over a little bit, likely to follow Tilray to an extent, but likely to sell off much more than any pullback in Tilray, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, we're sipping on the coffee right now. This is a $5 winner as Microsoft, as Facebook rate back upside. What's going on with AMD? People asking, and yeah, what is going on with AMD, guys? Wow, you want to talk about a stock that is just little nuts today. 94 down to 89, back to 93 again. Well, 92.50, like. That's crazy, but we've seen this big move in the, I mean, look at this. Look at the NASDAQ. Here, let me see if, thanks, guys. Look at the NASDAQ, doot, 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 bang. Look at AMD, doot, 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 bang. I mean, look at all these stocks. That's why, look at Facebook, same thing. Actually, Facebook has more to go. So let's see if we can get that. That's $5 in the money. And Apple, the same thing, doot, 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 bang. I told you guys that you have to wait to see what the market's gonna do. Obviously, people started buying Apple like crazy down here at that 142.50 area, so good on us for finding that move, but wow, there it goes, man. And this is why it's all about prep. To be honest with you, you got to know the names. And you got to pick the names that you think are going to be strong for you, right? So here we go again, man. We're doing it again on all of these names, and I just hope that it can continue to climb. Although the NASDAQ had a nice move back, so that's making me just a little bit, again, not questioning anything, and we're not worried about anything. It's just that's a big move back up to the highs right now on the day of Microsoft, of the NASDAQ. So this may be a good spot to pair some off if you haven't yet. I've been pairing off, so I want to see the NASDAQ take out the high and reward ourselves for some of these longs. We've been doing it, but if you haven't, please, guys, start to pair off a little bit here. I think that's a wise move.
It definitely makes sense to me as some of the weakness we saw. By the way, AMD made that move up. Xilinx is going to follow it step by step. I said watch that stock as well, especially for any news chatter there. I finally got into Sundial. It's going to be at 86 half. But that TAL turned into another reversal. See, this is what's going to happen, guys. Breakout, consolidates off 50. There was a stacked bid at 50. Try going long in front of it. Once it broke, I'm back to the south side of the trade here, guys. And then from there, you're going to take some out at VWAP. It's going to be the same thing as usual, right? Like once you roll over on a stock like this, you're looking for that VWAP trade, at least to get some of it out, and then work back down towards this 615 to 616 area, 620 area for the next profit target. We still have SPRT. I know some people are like, it's a good way to lose money in SPRT. It made that double top and it looked weak once we actually broke back down from that 965 double top. It is continuing to head to the downside. It just broke a 763. I've been unable to add to it since this 815 short. We're short in the 860 to 870 range earlier on, but it's just been flushing. There's no signs of strength in this stock. I mean, I don't know. It seems like it wants to give everything back. It was a $7 stock at the close yesterday. Looks like it's headed back towards that $7 range, unfortunately, today. If it holds that price, maybe it's got a second leg. But to me, we always say it's a short till it's not. That's what SPRT is for me. And as I did mention, Sundial, I finally got into it. It's rolling over back towards VWAP. This one I want to hold through a VWAP break because it's already put in that top. And then if a 15-minute chart wants to work for me here, there's the idea that I'm looking for. This was frozen before. I apologize for that. This was an 88 top that it already had into it. This is all because of the Tilray move. That's why I want to fade it when it fails at that particular price. I didn't catch it till 86.5. I think support will be down here around that 83 range. So, once again, it's been a while since I've been on the Sundial train, but anytime there's movement in the cannabis space, it usually means that's a trade that I'm going to put on. Here we are again doing it today. You got to know where you want to jump to. Randy's over here with the Timbits tempting me, so I got to do it over here. Thank you very much, Randy, but we got to also trade. So we'll get back to it, guys. TAL, that short trade, was able to get some out there on that little bit of a flush, had to reverse into the short. Sundial to the short. Got no longs on since covering that Apple trade. I do feel like there's a decent chance Apple trying to break out here, guys, back towards this like 146. Could we have held on? Sure. But if it cannot break this high, we're probably bouncing over at VWAP, and I was looking to buy a dip here, thinking this would fail back into 143. If it fails here, I think your dip is back into 144 instead.
Okay, so just a quick update, guys, right now. Facebook, we did get out at breakthrough 370. That's a monster win for us, but it was a roller coaster on Facebook today. We made back a lot of the money, but we didn't get back to flat. So, big trade. If we just would have held onto all of these, we would have been fine, but we did get out there on that 369 break and then averaged it. And maybe we should have held it, but we still have Apple. So, okay, we'll wait for Apple to make moves. How about that? So now that's a nice little trade in the money here. And Brendan keeps telling us, screaming at us literally, now that QuantumScape, because I know there's a lot of you on the chat that are looking at this name. This may be a name that I'm going to step back into at some point in my own account. We got that negative report once we broke through that $40 about them. And I think that was Scorpion Research, something like that. I think that's right, actually. All the way to the downside, and we just made that bottom. So what you're looking for when you're looking at companies like this are obviously these strong earnings today, but now apparently they're ready to ramp up production. So these are the solid state batteries for QuantumScape. So a nice little move upside now, up that 12% and doing volume. Unfortunately, though, when you look at a 20-minute chart, I still think we need to get to this 24.50. I feel like we've missed it. That 23 was a great screaming buy, and we just missed it today. So unfortunately, that was a trade that I would have loved to have on and should have been looking at it earlier. So that one's, every trade that I make is on me. I'm responsible for all of them, but that one right there should have been had 23. So now I think you got to wait for 24.50. If something happens to QuantumScape, like it goes down a little bit, back to that 23 level, then I'll be on that. But for right now, I'm just going to chill out with QuantumScape, and I feel a little bit sick that we gave up this 50 cents on Facebook because we did get out on that 370 break to the downside, and now you're up to 371.60. So damn you, Facebook. I love this, and I love you as a stock, but I should have been still long this name, guys.
Yeah, I can say I probably should still be long Apple. Maybe got to that too early. It's going to happen, but look, you got to pay yourself. Like you said, Sean, you got to pay yourself. I paid myself on that TAL. It still looks like, and come on, we can show here. There's an offer, 100,000 shares at 640. Now, this is probably not going to matter that much. It's done 57 million shares, 57 million shares in the day, actually more than that, because we probably missed some prints in the pre-market much earlier. But if it cannot break that 640 level, look for it to retest this cluster here. This is where I'm going to get some shares out, that 616, which we just mentioned. SNDL, Sundial. I don't need to say SNDL. Sundial just got right down into VWAP, and I'm like, let's hold through VWAP. Well, let's get ridiculous. That's probably a little bit ridiculous. I will take some out. Only reason I want to short another pop if it gets towards that 88 cent range. The lower high was at 87.50, 87.5. I wasn't able to get shares at that price. I had to take the next cluster down a penny lower, so I do want to get a bit more aggressive shorting pops here, which means I should be taking some out on Sundial. It's a penny stock, so kind of treat it as such, guys. Just to come back over to that INFI, this is going to be a stinger for me here. We had the short, we're all long in the stock, by the way, and we had a nice winner on the long trade. We had a nice short, covered some at VWAP. We took the breakout. And then, yeah, I don't have an excuse for putting a stop order. I had too many positions. I didn't even notice that I had actually gotten out of this when instead of putting the stop, it retests VWAP and now is off to the races. So at this point, you've missed the move to the upside, so you don't want to sit here chasing it to any price. But just so you guys can quickly see, there are two big levels coming One, this 255 area, and then two, if this stock gets to like a 280, this is a 15-minute chart. If it gets to like this 275, 280, might run into a little bit of resistance on that INFI. Still room to run till it gets there, but I'll have to buy dips because I certainly missed that breakout. Well, rather I took it out for a 1 penny winner. Shouldn't have done that.
Man, I'm so, 1 penny winner, yeah.
Well, it was a keystroke. I went to put a stop in and I punched out and didn't realize it.
Yeah, and that's the thing, guys. You heard Neil make keystroke earlier, keystroke again. We all make them, so you have to be very, very cautious of your keys. Know your hotkeys. Neil's keyboard it's not a keyboard thing, obviously. And when we're trading multiple symbols, that's really part of the trick, guys, is to how to trade multiple symbols and still be focused and still host the show. So, be very, very, you don't have to act as fast as we do. That would be the one thing that I would say to you guys. Our system is built for us to make rapid trades. I've already made 47 today. So, just understand your platform, understand that, and we'll get going. There goes Apple. Wow, holy crap, guys. You want to get it? Let's get ready for a bang on Apple as that continues at $3 now in the money, guys. We talked about this when I said, show me a tailwind, and I'll show you 10 headwinds. Sorry, show me a headwind, I'll show you 10 tailwinds. Because, Apple just continues, man. It's a monster stock. I love this name. And not as much as I love Facebook more, which I should still be in this stupid thing. We dumped this a while ago. Now we would be easily profitable on this. I just hope that you guys have been able to ride this with me and made that money on Facebook. What a great trade that was so far today. And what a great trade. I think this could be our trade of the day probably on Tilray here, breaking that 14, up, we get out. I would have loved to have a tick up here to show off, but at the same time, I think this is a pretty good trade here for Tilray. So really happy with that one. Or the trade of the day could be everyone's favorite here, Apple. And this is the thing. When you believe in something, this is what you have to do, man. You have to hold on to shares when you believe in something. When nothing really changes. We knew the NASDAQ, and this is why you're seeing me, man, and we talked about it all the time. And this is one of my favorite keys to hit right now, but we went, okay, I'm reloaded. Because when stocks go down like this, old Sean, you know what? I'm going to dump it. It hits my level. I'm out. I'm gone, right? That was what we did on Microsoft, for sure. It broke that 285. We got out. Forget it, right? But this one we did not reload. What we did on everything else, though, was reload, man. Reload. Like get out, got hit, reload that trade, right? Because you believe in it and you find some of these levels. So there you go. Sometimes luck has to be on your side. For sure. The NASDAQ could have turned around and continued to go down. Instead, we break highs. But we talked about this. Why you're always invested in tech. You have to be. And I said, if you're not in Apple, today was a great opportunity to buy it. And I know that you guys on the chat did that. So I'm going to say thank you for buying Apple if you did, because you were down here at 143. And to take a word from Neil, if that's not a gift horse down here at 143, then it's a donkey, because right now that's a rip to the upside for Apple. This is a $3 winner. Facebook is from the bottom, 367. How about $8 in the money now for Facebook? Now we got out, my bad, but still a nice little win to the upside there. Everything rocking and rolling. And by the way, one thing that we're not out yet, hit the siren. Let's go, Neil. Come on, Chinese names. Oh, EDU, another name. 250, staring that in the face. That breaks. We're going long on that one. Let's go, man. Get on the board if you're not on yet. Let's go.
Yeah, you better be on the board, guys. TL's back to that 640 range where that size was. I just got back into it. I just want to point out to GameStop. I know AMC's to the downside as well. GameStop got added to the S&P, moved from the S&P 600 to the 400, guys. But selling off on that news. But AMC just made a bounce off the low. This is a big 165 level for GameStop. And I'll just go to the 15-minute chart here. It's trying to put in a higher low. This was 161, and then here's like 155. So this consolidation here is a big turn. If you cannot hold this, you're headed right down another $5. If it breaks back to the upside, decent chance you can get to that 170 mark. So on the off chance GME can make a run here. I already saw AMC go. That's why I was looking at it. You guys are going over to Brendan. It's time for the small cap recap. Watch for the break here, GME 166.
Hey guys, busy morning in small cap world once again. That being said, one of those mornings where there was a lot of names with a lot of liquidity and a lot of volume, but not a lot of range, unfortunately. INFI, I was talking about this one just before the open yesterday, all the way down on earnings today, all the way back up and then some. It took me a while to kind of buy into this story, but bottom end of the daily chart range, I said 255, 260. So I was using the top end of the pre-market as an attempt at a short. initially, but flipped long, trying to get back up into that 260 area. We already tested it once, so we'll see what happens. So much strength today after yesterday was very, very weak. Support.com. Bottom end of the range pre-market was 9, top end was 975. Pretty self-explanatory. Gave you an opportunity in front of 9 to be short. We're down at 720, trying to push lows right now on SPRT. Still decent volume on that one as well. GRVI, this one, you got to be really careful with this one. 5 million share float. So the way that this happened to the upside really scared me out of my first position here. So we'll see what happens. Back below 640, which was support here, a little bit of resistance. So it needs to hold between 640. Someone buying a ton of shares though, around 6 guys for GRVI. Back over to you.
Well, I know all about that one in GRVI because I was covering shorts at that $6 range and it couldn't seem to break through. TAL, I'm not saying there's a big buyer here, but I'm covering at VWAP again. Why? Because we shorted 644. I said it was back up at that price and we were getting back into some more shares, which we did. It breaks through VWAP. Now we'll get some at 622. So I don't know, we'll hit this key because it's the one that's at my fingertips. If this breaks out of this 610 to 625 range, I think we're going to get a push back down to these lows. So far, it has held up very, very well on these big flushes in terms of like the pre-market lows here, 575. It didn't even come close. This is a big flush. I mean, I was staring that gift horse in the mouth or in the face. Okay, that's interesting. Does that work? Anyways, it disappeared. I hit the key and it disappears on my board. Now it's a blank, but I know that's gift horse, that one. So there you go. I don't want to look that gift horse in the mouth. It does feel like it might put in a higher low of 6 even. It was a snapback buy on that trade, so you don't want to sit there hanging out to dry. I did just mention GameStop for the first time in a while, I want to say. I don't know. And I accidentally, and apologies, it all happens pretty quick, guys. And I said 166. That is an absolute, I misspoke. This range here is 167 is the actual high it's looking to break on GameStop. It is not 166. That's entirely my fault. Sometimes we're reading the charts pretty quickly, and I'll spit out the number, but really I misspoke. It is 167 in the top end of this range. GameStop trying to break out. AMC already bounced off its lows.
Yeah, I saw some people talking about that there with AMC. And the one thing is, guys, I mean, it could have been even much more of a money move, but we missed another trade here. And if you could see right on here, I mean, these are all the levels. You could see right at the bottom right, or I don't know if it's right or left, but it sees DD 860 there, DD 860. So if you go to DD right there, here's the 860 break and bang, right up to 890. So if you're watching that on the sticky note, congratulations, I missed it, damn it. We missed that trade on the 860 break, but again, you know, if you had that early, like at 938, it does dip down. So, but right now, there's the 865 break to the upside. So I don't know about this name. I've been wanting to get into Uber, but obviously you see these other names, you know, there's been a lot of movement in some other names here as an investment. So I don't mind looking at DD here through $9, but let's first see if there is any decent size at 9. No, there isn't. I mean, there's a little bit of order flow here. Parked orders at 9, 899, 898, but into 17 million. Remember, everything, if you're joining us for the first time, thank you and welcome. But we are right now looking to educate a little bit. Every one of these numbers is 100 shares. So that's 900, that's 200. So when you're sitting here seeing, you know, that's 25,000 shares only. That's only 100,000 shares. So it's not a huge amount of shares at those levels. What you're really trying to see is thousands up here. So if you see thousands, then get ready. We'll talk about that. But that's generally what we look for there, guys, is in the thousands. So that's a look for us on DD. I don't mind it shorting it into that 9, to be honest with you guys. And
I'm going to be getting into Uber at some point. I think you have to wait this out. They only own it's like a 13% stake they own in DD, so it is exposure. If you like DD, it's not a horrible way to play it. That's one of the things I would look at there. I want to show you Teledoc in, out for the loss. That's the big hit right here when it took out that level. Short, got the nice little scalp trade, and now this is to me like if we get back above yesterday's lows. Right, like if this is 145, you know, call it 70. It's kind of like 65, but we'll call it 70 here. If it gets above that price, then color me wrong. But it is what it is. I'm now dug into this. I'll let it break 145 even, but this is sort of like the all-in point. And we've done this before, where it's like you take several cracks at it to the short side, you get the scalps in, and you say to yourself, it was not a good quarter. It was quite frankly a horrible one. And yes, I do want to. Like I was looking for a flush to get actually long the stock. And I had just finished telling you guys in the pre-market that, if this extended, you're going to test that 130. If it bounced there, that'd be a good entry point. And then God mode would be if it broke that price, it was probably headed to 100. I think I would have been getting like 20% in. I would have been if it had gone down there. Now we're bouncing at that 130 level, and then get the rest in as it goes down towards 100. I think it's overvalued, but hey, if they want to pick this one back up, it might be like a 5 or 10% nibble if it can hold above 140, right? That's another way to play it. I don't like it at this particular price as much as I did at 130, but it is what it is. For now, I'm loaded up into the short guide. My average is 143. Can't let it go past yesterday's lows. And I know pre-market is traded lower than that, but yesterday's lows, that's at 145.70.
Yeah, I feel like that's your Goldman Sachs for me. I did the same.
At least it's not during the call that I'm doing.
Right. No, I'm talking about when Goldman
that wasn't
Sachs
Goldman,
kept
was it? No.
Tanking on me, and I liked it. And I think the same thing's probably happening to you right now with Teledoc. And part of the thing is that once you get a little bit of something in your head, sometimes it's hard to sort of flip the switch. You see me do that today when we only went long. Like we could see some of these moves happening downside. No shorts here. Wow, Apple. Wow. Good move to the upside there. Facebook as well. Like we could see this happening, and I just kept on averaging in until eventually we caught the bottom. Not a great way to trade. So I don't recommend doing that all the time, but that's not a bad spot there anyways for Facebook to the downside there. Let's just check back in Tilray. I mean, again, guys, sorry about this, but we had to ring the register on that. We talked about it over and over again. I never wish I wasn't doing the show, but that would have been, I can't get it in or out of positions while we're on the show. Conflict of interest. You guys, and that's how you basically know. I hope that you guys know that we're legit here. We're showing you guys all the quotes, everything. And that's 15.59. All the trades that me and Neil make are actually on the equity themselves. We're not trading CFDs. We're not trading options, nothing. These are actual live level 2s with Tilray doing 54 million shares. This is a live time in sales here, guys, showing, there's a lot of controversy about D prints and things like that. So you can see there's a lot of D prints. Those are dark pool prints. So you can see those coming off of our level 2s as well. So we're all here showing you everything we can, guys, about all this. Speaking about dark pool prints, let's go over to AMC quickly here. I like this break. I really do. Like if we could break through 37.20, I like this long. So I'm here with you guys. I like this long. I think there's a good opportunity here for AMC to break through this 37.20. And at the same time, I don't mind getting long. I'm going to put some longs in here just for feelers to see if we do get back into this area and then start to run up. I know Neil looked at GameStop today, but hey, down 3.4%. And we talked about this yesterday. I would really, really like to see, and again, forget about it. We get some slack sometimes. Are we holding? Are we not holding? What is our positions here? Remember, we're flat at the end of every single day, but I like to see AMC right above this $43. That's the 50-period moving average, and then that would be the bottom, like bottom, some actionable events here at 43, and then these tops as well as the 50-period moving average. So I am somewhat bullish if we can get above 43. It's a little ways away now. You got like 20% away from that, but it is trying to hold up. I still watch out for this 31 break, guys. That could be, a negative outcome if that does happen one more time, as we've tested it over and over again. So I'll look to buy some here in the mid 36s, but I do like that 37.20 break there. It's already 10.20, guys. I know Neil doesn't have an earpiece. Was it Brendan or no?
Oh, is it?
No. Okay.
I'm gonna flush down the toilet and just. Every time I hit a key, it like becomes, I don't know what's hovering my board, guys. It just goes blank. So I lose it. I know that was flushed down a toilet, but that's sundial. It broke VWAP. I'll take some more shares at 84. I actually have a bid at 83.50 as well. The rollover, look, 88, we showed you that level on the 15-minute chart. There was a failed break at that price on TDOC. So, if you get a failed break to the upside, I tried to get like 50 pennies higher. I got out and then slams right back down through that previous support level. So for me, that's get back in, use the high as you're in. So that's what as my out, sorry. So I'm back into that one, but it's a much, much tighter stop at the top. TAL is continuing to basically barcode here. I know it's been a solid short on that re-entry. I couldn't get anything past that 615 level, and now it's starting to break back to the upside. This is the point where when it holds this level here and that higher low, there's no more reloading at 644. Like at that particular point, either it rolls over again and I can get some out at VWAP, or forget about it. It's headed right back to that high of the day. So you don't want to look a gift horse in the mouth. You want to make sure you take your profit, and you want to make sure you don't keep Brendan waiting ever. What's up, B?
10:30, guys. That means coming up in 15
though?
minutes. Great guest for you today, Elliot Scher, Managing Director, Head of Sales for CIBC World Markets, coming through to talk about Canadian depository receipts, brand new product that they have recently launched with Amazon, of all companies. So we're going to talk to Elliot coming up here from CIBC. Going to be interesting conversation about, again, CDRs. Guys, we hear all about ADRs all the time, similar product. In the meantime, let's see what's happening over in Europe. 1 hour left in the session over in Europe. What's up, Miss V?
Hey, Brendan. European markets are positive, supported by strong earnings. Barclays Bank trading in London is up almost 9% after beat second quarter profit expectations and boosted returns to shareholders. Back to you.
Yeah, earnings right across the board in focus so far today, guys.
Should be an interesting and fantastic guest. Oh my goodness, I just got that pullback on INFI. I didn't think this was gonna, give me a break. There we go, INFI. This one was breaking up. Remember I said I kind of bungled that long. It's gonna happen to you guys. So a lot of times I'll be sitting there looking at a level 2, managing another trade and putting a stop order in by muscle memory, and one small keystroke, and instead of hit the wrong key when you hit enter, it's essentially punching out. I could have got back in on the first VWAP dip. I took profit on a short at that price, at VWAP the first time. Should have got back in on this dip. I'm not going to make that same mistake. We jump back into INFI here at 235, right off of 230 at VWAP. I'll scalp this one out because, I mean, at the end of the day, we're getting to that time of the session. You know, it's like 10:30, getting into lunchtime, where it might not take out that new high, even if it barcodes in the in the lunch hour around 250 to 260. It's probably going to take some profit. You don't want it breaking down at that particular time. And speaking of breaking down, that education name, TAL, I just said I wouldn't average in if it got to 640. Well, it didn't get to 640. So this is right back down to 25 cents in the money. I'm not covering anything in this range because I've already taken out VWAP. I've already taken some out in this cluster. The next level down is 6, and then that 575 high. So I'll park a bid in front of that 6 level, and the rest we'll take out in front of 575. That's worked out. I will not be positive on, Teladoc, that 130 on Teladoc. Teladoc would probably have to get to 130 for me to be positive on the session here, but if a setup is a setup, look at these dark pool prints. If a setup is a setup, you're going to take it. And if I have a key level that breaks and then immediately reverses off that price, then I'm going to jump back into the trade. It's with a tighter stop, but that's always going to be a jam scalp style trade, at least for the first half of it. And then I can hold some for 142 and the rest for VWAP. That is a VWAP retracement for me. So even though I believe Teladoc can come further down, that setup is to take, for me anyways, is to take it out at VWAP. So I'm not going to get positive on the session because I'm not going to hold, well, I'm positive on the session, but not positive on the session on Teladoc unless it gets to 130. I'm not holding for that because this setup says VWAP, and that's what I'm going to take.
Yeah, and I was just typing here in the chat a little bit about AMD because we did get all the way back here to $94, and that was a trigger that we had early, breaking through this 94. So again, it's not a heavy position because it was an early breaker 1.9. Can you hear me? Okay, here we go, right to the upside right now. So this is a nice little win. We are long right now at 94.05. There goes AMD, and someone in the chat said, can you imagine selling it early? I didn't, but I can imagine that. Some people probably, again, this is what I'm talking about all the time when we talk about trades, and that is that believing in what you're doing, right? Believe in your trades, everything will work out fine, and we'll be able to make some money together. So let's just hope that, AMD and everything continues to work out. You don't have to follow every trade because, again, we're trading pretty fast. My trades are pretty simple. I get a lot of these trades are one in, one outs, things like that. I mean, NEO today should have took that out when it went to day's high. That was a little bit of a mistake. That's pretty easy to follow. Tilray's pretty easy to follow as well. I think there's one negative day. I may have 2 negative days in July, but I think it's low teens on the year, which is pretty good. And again, a lot of that is being conservative, right? And I'm just trying to show you guys some of the differences with trading and how that all works. So, and then look at this. There goes AMD again to the upside. So a nice little run here for us. We'll wait to see where we go with this, but there it is, man. A nice little move here for AMD to the upside. Now 40 cents in the money. Let's take out another piece and see if we continue to fly. Brendan, we're getting very, very close to that $95. That was a target spot on the daily here for AMD. So you can see we've come up here before over and over again. I'll just try to extend this out a little bit. There it is, 90. I mean, that high is 98, but we've come up to this 95 a couple times. Let's see if we spin it right now up to the high side. There goes AMD, guys.
And remember BlackBerry, we don't want to get too far away from that. When we get to that one in a quick second, it's still holding 11 as the high, down around 1075, so it's baselining a little bit. But that SPRT is starting to creep back up. I'm going to go ahead and cancel this order. We talked about this before. Like, if you make a hard low 720, I like this pullback earlier off of VWAP, off that 835 level. But now that you're making a bounce and some higher lows, I'm not just going to blindly sit in front of it. I want to see it get to this price around like 815, 820, and then start to head back down. And that's the way I would like to get back into some more shares of SPRT. I just only mentioned BlackBerry to you guys because I know, look, they had the news, Brennan brought it to you rightfully so, and you're not going to trade absolutely everything. Now, that's going to be a reality, but at times, you end up missing out on this. And I would say the opportunity cost of like being in 4 or 5 positions at once is when something new comes in like BlackBerry that I wasn't watching and we immediately were like, yeah, watch out for that $11 range, is, I'm going to miss out on a trade. Like, it spikes, nice little, not parabolic, it had already gone parabolic, but a nice volume spike right into 11, hits it on a dime and starts to reverse, even gives you a shot here at the previous high to hang out for a couple of minutes here at 1090 and then right back into VWAP, right? So that's like I'd say like an A, not an A+ setup for me here because, BlackBerry is a heavily shorted name in terms of the short percentage. But either way, that's what you miss out by trading like 5 or 6 at the same time. If that's the only thing you do and that's your best thing, just only do that. There is absolutely nothing wrong with having one setup or one stock, and that's all you're going to look for ever, guys. So, BlackBerry is a good one. It's still holding up. Watch 1060 more so than VWAP, I tend to think here, to see if it can hold this dip. And then 11 break could be very, very interesting later on in the session, especially if it never breaks this 1060. If we hold this throughout lunchtime, you can pretty much almost guarantee you're going to get a retest of 11 even, and then watch for that 130 or 230 breakout, which often happens in the afternoon.
We are getting ready to go to the downside, it looks like right now, as the NASDAQ trying to give up the ghost. We broke that 15,000. Shout out to Russell Jackson, who was talking about 15,000, and we were down pretty low today. Well, not pretty low, 14.9, and then now we're retesting 15, and we're just going to look for a breaking spot now. We did dump our Facebook. We did average into that. That was a good trade for us. Not fantastic, but good on Facebook to the upside. It does rip huge, man. Like, I just wish we would have held on to it all the way up to 373.50 there for Facebook, so that's a big run for sure for that name. What are we looking at right now? Something just came out there. Oh yeah, nice trade there. We'll pop a wheelie for AMD. That just came out at 25 there, so a nice win again as the NASDAQ trying to make moves back to the upside. This is a 50 cents, was 50 cent winner up to 94.50. That stops though right away, so we'll wait to see where it goes from here, but that's a nice little mover upside. And then we do have Apple, $3 now in the money. That's a nice little mover to the upside there. And I did want to give a big thank you. Thank you so much, Jason. I haven't seen you on here before, but thank you, Jason Funderburk. Great picture there. Thank you so much for the $20. And I hope that you're able to take some profits with us here today as well. So thank you to Jason for the super chat. And we really love our members. We wouldn't be here without you guys. So thank you one more time.
Any relation, Jason, to there was a basketball player, Lawrence Funderburk. I'm just kind of curious because I don't know why that name came into my head. We have a really interesting new product we have here. It's actually Bitcoin minis. I'm just checking it out because we just got back to that 40,000 and then dipped. And look, it's like a mini. It's a mini that we have available to trade, day trade the world. But just watching the price action here, it looks like it's following pretty nicely. But we're just testing over and over again that 40,000 mark. This particular product is like 1/10, so 400 is the same. Sorry, not 1/10, 1/100. So 400 is the same as 40,000. But a new thing for us, Day Trade the World. I'm not gonna be trading it yet because it's the first day of action for us. But looks like it's following pretty nicely here, Sean, at least in terms of the price action. TAL is now down to that next level down. Give me a break. It's on the New York. I do it every single time. Next level down. It just bounced off my 605 bid, but I'll keep that bid right in place, exactly where it is. It's also 1040, and that means we got to go to Brendan for Sector Watch. Market is, ES is flat. The NASDAQ is up. The board looks mixed, though.
Hey guys, yeah, let's have a look at the overall market. We are in positive territory here, 0.07 for the S&P. One of those days, once again, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, when you get into earnings season, you're going to have lots of big movers either direction, kind of offsetting each other, and then whatever is left makes up the direction for the day. We'll start over here because there's Google. I just saw all-time highs again before we came up here for Google, big volume prints coming off at all-time highs as well. So 4.5% there for Google, Alphabet, ATVI, TTWO, EA even up 2.2%. So communication stocks doing quite nicely. To the downside, banks pretty weak so far today. CFG had earnings, and then insurance names and some of the diversified names all pretty much in negative territory. I want to point out Boeing here, 5.5% off the list from this morning. We talked about it. Nice day for Boeing, still up 5.5%. Right below it, TDY 3.5%. GNRC, unfortunately not the same, 11% to the downside, offsetting that. So those are negative. Same story for consumer discretionary shares outside of Etsy, having a pretty good day, up about 2%. The rest of this group, durable goods and some of the services, all in negative territory. All the travel names in here. You're going to find the hotels, the cruise lines in here as well. There's Starbucks and McDonald's as well. Both recent earning names, so 2.5% to the downside. Tech shares pretty mixed. Some of the hardware equipment makers are positive. Both the semis and software makers pretty mixed as well. So typically when that happens, we are dead flat, guys. 0.01 now to the downside. Back to you.
Thanks a lot, Brendan. Your good luck, definitely. At the risk of course, my keys are all messed up now, so I can't hit something fun. I was going to hit Brendan Goat, but I can't even find it because my back and forth keys don't work there, so just letting you guys know. We bounced off of a VWAP here in the INFI 235. Look, we missed this trade the last time it went through, and we said, yeah, it was a bit of a mistake there, keystroking out of the long and then missing that dip. We'll catch it this time, but you got to pay yourself, so we're going to get some out at 45, that 10-cent scalp trade. And then if it gets to 55 here, take the rest out in front of the high of the day, right? Like you look at the daily chart here, and I'll pull it back just a little bit so you can maybe see. What was support? I mean, right down around 240 to like 265 in here. You had the flush yesterday after that had the earnings, and then you come right back into the top of that range. So when I see a 260 top, I kind of feel like there's a few people that are likely to really enjoy getting that price, especially if they bought at the bottom, or even if they thought they had that breakout a couple of days, a few sessions ago into earnings, and they're long in front of that 260, and maybe they held through. They might be pretty happy to get out flat. So I kind of look at that as maybe holding throughout lunchtime. That's why I'm going to get the rest out at 255, and it can always turn into an afternoon breakout. The volume is good, the momentum is still there, but it's certainly slowing down a lot on INFI.
Just to talk quickly here, Apple. So Apple, a nice move upside, but look at this, man. We're about to break through 145 again. Sorry, 146, 145.90. I'll probably get out of this if we come back through here. So 145.50. We'll give up 50 cents on this. It's $3 in the money now. But if I kept on getting out all the way up, then I'd be out by now, right? So sometimes you got to hold on to things a little bit more. So we're going to wait for this a little bit. I mean, I look at this and I'm almost thinking this is the right level to get out, but I'm going to push it a little bit lower here to 145.50 and get out if that does break. And the same thing, same story true here on AMD. The NASDAQ's coming down. AMD, a nice break long. We already scalped out at 2/3 of it. I'm looking at this dropping spot here again, 93.75. So we will give up some of the profits that we've made on these two names, AMD and Apple, but we've already rid them nicely to the high side. Obviously, we missed this whole move, but we have it on a lot of the names. So you guys already saw us low tick Facebook here and go to the upside and not hold on to that one enough. We thought maybe 370 was going to be a breaking spot. We get out, it goes to 373. So again, we don't want to make the same mistakes over and over. I mean, these aren't mistakes, these are wins. But again, we try to hold on as long as we can. And I think we've done a pretty good job of that for you here today. We didn't get into BlackBerry. That's faded off that 11 level. So that's something to look out for. And then again, our only real mistake here today was getting out and not getting back in on Microsoft, but it's approaching this level as well. So we're going to throw to Brendan for the guest today, but now you know some of my outs on these high flyers.
All right, thanks so much, guys. Elliot Schur, Managing Director, Head of Sales, CIBC World Markets, joining us today to talk a little bit about a brand new product that was just launched as of yesterday, Elliot, on the NEO exchange here in Toronto. And we're talking about CDRs. A lot of people are going to be familiar with ADRs. Similar idea here, but good to see you, first of all. Thanks for doing this today, Elliot. Let's get into the idea behind these products and what people can expect with CDRs now here in Canada.
Sure, thanks. Great to be here. So CDRs are a brand new security here issued in Canada that allow for Canadian investors to buy global shares like Amazon.com in Canadian dollars on a Canadian stock exchange while eliminating the risk of currency fluctuations and also eliminating the exchange rate fees for converting. So we believe this innovation can revolutionize the way that Canadians invest in global companies. We're trying to lower the cost, we're trying to reduce the risk, and lower the barrier to entry for Canadians to invest globally. Canadians currently, when they invest globally, they have to do two things. They have to convert their Canadian dollars into US dollars, as an example, and then they buy the stock. So they're in fact making two investments, and you need to get both of them right. And a lot of Canadians learned that in the past year alone, because the Canadian dollar rallied pretty dramatically from July 2020 to May 21, probably 15% or so. So you get a situation where S&P 500 making all-time highs, or your investments in Amazon or Apple are going up, but you're seeing a lot of those gains eroded because of the move against you in currency. So here we're just saying, there's been no easy way to protect yourself from those currency moves before, but with CDRs, you can. So there's really three key benefits, Brendan, that I'll talk to you about. The first one is that built-in currency hedge, which was the reason that we put the product together. The second benefit is that they trade in Canadian dollars, so just easier for investors. They don't have to do that conversion. They don't have to deal with managing two sides of their portfolio to track performance. They don't have to deal with the exchange fees. And throughout all of this product, they're getting things at institutional FX rates. So yesterday, as an example, was our first day of trading on AMZN, the CDR, which is under the ticker AMZN. And, bid offer spread was 2 cents, which equates to like an FX spread of like 0.1 or less than 0.1% versus the standard, 1.5% that some people might pay. And then third benefit is the fractional share ownership. So Amazon was the first ticker that we're using here. And as you know, AMZN in the US trades at about 3,600 or so. I haven't seen what it's trading at today, and I know earnings are out tomorrow. But we launched it at about $22 a share as a 200-to-1 ratio, just to make it a lot easier and accessible for Canadian retail investors. So our hope is that this innovation revolutionizes the way that Canadians invest in global companies. They live in Canada, they earn Canadian dollars, they spend Canadian dollars, so why not have their investments in Canadian dollars too?
Yeah, a lot of keys to focus in on there, and I want to talk about the fractional share ownership, because that is going to be quite attractive for many people who obviously, as you said, $3,000 or pushing a $3,000 stock in Amazon maybe don't want to invest the capital into the U.S. side of things, but definitely want to have some exposure to an Amazon, to any of the big high-flying tech stocks. Tell us a little bit more about how the fractional share ownership works with the CDRs.
Yeah, so really simple. It's like I was saying, it's a 1 to 200 ratio for the AMZN CDR. But basically, what'll happen is we've I'll call it unitized that in a way so that when Canadians buy and sell, they just buy and sell the CDR, which is the listed security on the New York Exchange, and they'll get a fraction of the dividend. So if let's say, Amazon doesn't pay a dividend, but if we're going to do Apple next, and you own an Apple CDR, which let's just as an example is 1 to 10 ratio, you'll get 10% of that Apple dividend. So it's not a very complicated product in terms of the fractional share ownership. In the U.S., there are Charles Schwab does a fractional. In Canada, Wealthsimple Trade just did fractional. So that concept isn't overly complicated, but just for everyone's benefit, it just makes it easier and more accessible to Canadian investors.
For those interested, obviously, you mentioned Apple there to come shortly. Why Amazon first? First question. And secondly, maybe let's talk a little bit more about what else is in the pipeline as far as names that are set to make their debut.
Sure. So yeah, Amazon was first. We actually filed our pricing supplement for our first 5 CDRs. So we picked Amazon.com, Apple, Netflix, I heard Google, and Tesla. And those will be the first 5 that we go. But we've been working on this project for 3 years now. And so we're going to be launching many more in the future. And we're going to be basing that on what our clients are asking for. So to the extent that clients want access to other names, we're going to add many more names. And so we'll listen to our clients there. Amazon was a good one to start because of the fractional share ownership, very obvious benefit of $3,500 US a share down to $20 CAD a share. That 200-to-1 ratio really helps drive our message home. So it was an easy one to pick for our first launch.
All right, let's jump into pricing here as well, because people are going to be very curious as to how that is going to work, similar to an ETF product, as you explained to me so clearly. Tell everyone exactly how the actual pricing, with the currency worked in, is calculated.
Yeah, so like ADRs, there's no management fee on these. So CDRs, there's just allowing investors access these companies at institutional FX rates. Currently they're converting their money at 1% or 1.5% here. They don't need to. It's all happening at institutional FX rates because the market maker is the one actually doing the FX conversion. And if you see a bid offer spread of 1 cent or 2 cents, then that's the all-in cost there. And 1 cent divided by a $22 stock price is going to equate to, like I said, like kind of a 0.05% FX spot rate. In terms of like the cost, for managing the currency hedge, that's where we're going to be earning our money. We're very transparent. We disclose this on our prospectus, and we detailed this with the Ontario Securities Commission. And we're not going to earn more than 60 basis points per annum. So that's going to be the call it the drag. And our intention here is to charge the same that we would charge a currency hedged ETF, the same for them, the way that they manage their currency hedge or their currency exposure on their mutual funds or ETFs. That's what we'll kind of apply to the CDRs.
So AMZN trading on the NEO exchange as of yesterday. We talked about a whole bunch of other names, including Apple, to name a few, set to come as well. Elliot, tell us if there are any other plans. Are we going to see some major European names? Are we going to see anything from the Asian Pacific region coming as far as CDRs are concerned?
Nothing like immediately. Our initial intention is to get our anchor tenants to get, as many of these, large blue chip U.S. names on our roster. And we're going to continue to grow again, like listening to our clients to the extent that they want to see Europe and Asia, then that's, where we'll look to grow. And we'll just work with our partners, our custodians, CIBC Mellon and their partners, their sub-custodians, and we'll work with the Ontario Securities Commission to make sure that they're comfortable with whatever regulatory body governs the underlying reference share that we're linking to. So, we got them comfortable, both our partners at NEO, both our partners at CIBC Mellon and the Ontario Securities Commission with the US, and we'll have to do the same when we grow to other geographies.
Elliot Schur, Managing Director, Head of Sales at CIBC World Markets. A pleasure. Thanks for doing this today.
Oh, no. Thanks for having me.
There we go, guys. Now we can buy Amazon shares in Canada with Canadian dollars. AMZN on the NEO exchange, guys.
Yep, more to come. I was just sort of like, while we were doing that, I was just making sure, like looking at Amazon here on our quotes, and of course looking at here in the exchanges here in Toronto, and it looks like it follows pretty nicely. So I think it's an interesting product. If you trade in Canada, definitely check it out. We only have about 5 or 6 minutes to go, so a couple of things to get to almost immediately here. That TAL, which I know a lot of people are looking at. Yeah, but that last leg we got out in front of that $6 range, now we're bouncing right back into view up. We're still holding, if you like trend lines, fair enough. We're still holding lower highs for now. Remember I said if we don't at least test the low, I don't want to be averaging back in at that 44 area where we got in last time. I think we're looking at the high of the day. I want to stick to that plan, at least for now. Nothing's really changed for me. I'm not sure exactly, I was following Tilray earlier, but I'm not sure exactly if Sean's still in that position. It was a big time banger. I waited for Sundial to make its turn because it had a sympathy move to the upside right into its resistance level. It is also bounced off of this little bit of dip support here at 83 cents. I actually was sitting on the bid at 83.5. I'm not averaging into this one either unless it's a test of that high of the day, guys. So got to be patient. It is lunchtime. There'll be lots of activity today because there's still a lot of earnings to come. And of course, in the afternoon, I would expect tons of volume in some of these related names that have moved off earnings, like a Sundial Tilray. And then some individual names that still reported this morning, and the Chinese education names will all be bangers coming into that last hour of a trade, and we'll be right back for all of it. So make sure you keep some powder dry for what should be an exciting close there, Sean, and Fed Day too.
Yeah. We haven't even talked about Fed Day. You want to talk about big things going up here? AMD is flying. This is one of my favorite characters, Kean Thompson. Pack up your things. This is when he was pretending to be the big baller brand. We moving on up. right now. So pack up your things if you're with us on AMD. Let's go. Yes, sir. We'll get some pizza going on here right now. A nice little move up to 95 for Amazon. For AMD, I got that Amazon on my mind there, Brendan. Great interview. 87 cents now in the money, guys. AMD, 87 cents in the money. $3.50 in the money on Apple. Facebook, we absolutely demolished that one to the long side, but got rid of it too early. That is the tale of that tape. And then Tilray today, like I said, about as clean as it gets. One in, bang, 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 all the way to the upside. Should have probably reloaded at 15, but again, I don't like trading these on these kind of days because I'm really bearish on the marijuana space, even though I'm heavily invested and it's up 22%. But that is what it is right now today as AMD. Wow. Brendan, there we go, baby. AMD, Britney Spears is in the building because, oops, we did it again there, Brendan. Let's go, buddy. What you got for us?
Pretty good day, yeah, 4+% for that nice look. Let's go, more earnings, guys. This one might be the busiest day. I said that yesterday, but I don't know about this board, guys.
Ford in the middle. That's going to be my big one for sure. What up to Ford? What up to every single name that's on that list? I'm looking forward to. I mean, I hold like 30 names, so I'm pretty much in a lot of these. But I definitely looking to Ford tomorrow, see what they're saying. And then guys, my love affair for Facebook. That's going to be on there. Get ready for a monster beat. Can anyone say 400?
What Freddie Mac on there? Okay, interesting. I'm just trying to find some off-brand names here. I mean, I think Qualcomm is going to be a big bellwether as well. Do not sleep on one of Mark Roberts' favorites, Lamb. I'm an AMAT guy, but Lamb just as good as well, and I'm sure he's talked about it. It's been a good one, so watch out for that. Anything in that tech space, especially the suppliers for the chip shortage, that's going to be a big bellwether. I can't see anything that stands out to me. It's a lot of names, but I stick to that middle. Oh my goodness. Didn't even say PayPal. PayPal right there as well.
Yep. PayPal was my call of 2020, and at that price, it was $100. So PYPL. Stay tuned, guys. I'm giving calls all the time, and PayPal is just another one we like that. I like Square as well. So lots happening, guys. We're very, very excited for you to join us one more time tomorrow. That's going to be a big banger, man. Thank God today was such a good day for us off the bottom. AMD continues to rip out. It's at that 95 level. We break through 94. Let's get out if we break 94.75, guys. We'll take 75 cents on this one.
Everything but Teladoc, right? Which is like Teladoc, like double ding me, right? It's like you sit there and eventually it'll scroll and it'll be that crazy negative one that you see. But it's also the fact that I was expecting it to come down so I could finally get into the stock at a discount. So I'm not going to get that, obviously. I think maybe if it holds up at like a 140 today, it might be a little bit of a dip. Like I said, instead of 20% in, like 10% could be the way to play it. We got to do what National Day it is today. And sometimes you got to keep it simple. And this is a perfect example of keeping it simple. Nothing fancy about this. But there is a 0% chance. Well, I shouldn't say this. Brendan, you got to like this one. Miss V, what is the National Day?
Thank you, Neil, and hey guys, thank you very much for spending this morning and trading with us. Also, thank you for 2,700 likes and for all the kind words on the chat. We really, really love you and we'll be getting only better for you. Well, guys, we'll see you in the afternoon. A happy National Milk Chocolate Day, everyone.
Brendan's not going to like this.
Brendan? I know you like dark chocolate, but you can't dislike milk chocolate, can you?
Watch.
Neil makes it sound like I hate everything. I mean, obviously, I would rather dark chocolate, but not a fan. No.
Not a fan. There it is. Yeah, so there it is again. We win again on that one, Neil. You're not going to... I trust me. I'll make the call when Brendan's going to be liking something or not.
I'm always wrong about it. It's just crazy. I always think like you got to like that, Brendan. Like no, never mind.
No. It doesn't like that. Okay. So chocolate milk is a good one. Actually, you know what? I mean, nothing wrong with normal milk. We'll see how that goes. As long as the kids are drinking milk and keeping strong, that is what it is. But there goes
Holy
AMD.
Euro.
Wow, guys. Now 95.40, Brendo. I don't know if you pulled your offer or not, but we are up to some nice little levels here as AMD continues to go, man. It's been a big day. Earnings tomorrow, everything. Great interview. Thank you to Brendan for that one as well. And thank you guys for watching, and thank you for all the likes today. We'll do some more fun with that after, as I think Randy just dumped all
Randy
the
just a little bit of a spill.
So there it is, picking it up there.
How are you going to spill the tidbits? All the chocolate ones are...
That's what I'm talking about.
There's still some chocolate ones, so I'm still happy, but everyone else can be upset. Don't throw it at me, man. Don't throw tidbits at me. Just to get you guys, another reason you guys are the best community in the world, Neuro, didn't even see this one spike, volume spike, it just went up to $22, so this will be on the radar. Watch this for the closing show. We'll be back. It's going to be a banger because of those earnings, because of the Fed, because of the runners, because of the fun we're having here. I'll be loaded up on Timbits for the entire team down the line. Ms. V is in green. And yeah, that's right. The ES and the NASDAQ both in positive territory today for Brennan Wickens. I like dark chocolate too, but you know, there's nothing wrong with milk chocolate. Myself, Neil Robertson, Sean Katina. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Trader TV Live, and we'll see you at the close. Bye, guys.